G'day mates, how's it going? Back. What's what? Boom. Yeah. Look at that. I put you guys in there too. Now I need this one. Oh, that's not gonna work. Where is it? Where are you? Thing. Now it'll work? Yes. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I don't know who's here right now. Might turn this up. Hold on. We'll put it like that. I have dog hair in my mouth. Ugh. Okay, so I'm probably only going to be able to react to one video, so I'm probably only be able to stream for like an hour and a half or so we can react to Turkey Tom, the sociopath YouTuber who destroyed his life, or we can react to 2 episodes of Chris Chan, and then I have this as well. Final predictions for the Switch 2 Direct. And Treehouse? What's Treehouse? Do I know what Treehouse is? The oldest man has returned. So can I finally go your signed copy of the Bible? What would we call Christian's Bible though? The other dude isn't fun to watch. What? The other dude isn't fun to watch. What do you mean? Oh, do you mean this guy? The sociopath guy? He's not fun to watch? Or do you... Ow. Ow, why'd that hurt so much? Oh, I'm bleeding. Oh, well, that's not fun. A psycho dude? A sociopath? Did I watch him off stream then? I might watch it off stream because I still want to watch it. It seems interesting. But you don't want Austin John plays in his final predictions for the Switch? Oh, on Christian. Do you have anything else though? Benny? Do you have another video that we could watch that isn't Christian? Or do you just want to watch Christian? Yeah, that really fucking hurt. I have a... Is it a mole? I don't know what you would call it. Like a skin tag type thing. And I just like stabbed it with my fingernail and now it's bleeding. Don't care about Switch 2. Why? What's wrong with the Switch 2? Let me go in the archive. Okay. I'll wait. I need to sneeze. Also, I think I found out what's wrong with me. I think first, I was getting sick from food. Right? But I'm no longer like throwing up. But I'm still like very sick. Does that make sense? The weather here has changed. So it was really hot. Like really, really hot. At the start of the week. Start of this week? No. The end of last week. It was like boiling hot. To the point where like you try and sleep at night and you'd just be drenched in sweat. And now it's freezing. Like now it's like really, really cold. And it's like really windy. So it's like blowing really cold wind on you. I think, not 100% certain, but I think I have the flu again. But this one's just like a normal flu by the feels of it. It's a whole lot of sneezing. Narcissa, right? Who the fuck's Narcissa? Wait, Narcissa is the... Isn't that the wife of Adams? What's his name? Grizzly Adams? Was his name? Oh, I probably shouldn't do that on this one. Wait a minute. Narcissa Adams. Isn't that the name? Adams family? Isn't that what her name is in the Adams family? No character named Narcissa in the Adams family. What's her name then? What's the wife? What's the wife's name? The Adams family. Isn't it not? I thought it was Narcissa. Am I crazy? Morticia. I was close. Morticia Adams. I'm so good with names. Okay, do I have to look up Narcissa right? What? Oh, why wouldn't like... Let me copy this. Why won't you let me copy this? Okay, let's go here. You guys want to see my homepage? Let's have a look. What do we got? What's this? This is normal in the UK? What? Why is there a bunch of cops? Oh, okay, I already watched it. Oh, yeah, I remember watching that. Oh, yeah. She's the speedrunner. She. Yeah, I remember this. This video will hurt you, so yeah, I watched this. That was a good video. Like, wasn't good for the person in the video, but the video itself was good. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that one. Do you have another one? Hold on. Let's go to Turkey Tom, right? And then we'll go videos. And I'll scroll down. Do you see how many I've watched? By the way, these ones that say that I've only watched halfway through is a lie. I've watched them all the way through. It's just, I don't know, for some reason. Does this do this to anybody else's YouTube? Where sometimes you won't even click on a video, right? It'll play the preview. But then the next time you look at it, it says you've watched the whole thing and you didn't even watch it. And then other ones you've watched fully and then it ends up like this. Where it says you've only watched like the start of it. It makes no sense to me. Who the hell is what? Schmorky? Who's Schmorky? Like, I've watched a lot. Who's this guy? Chibin, I don't know if I could say that. Autism to alcoholism? Josh blocks decent descent into madness. Okay. Alright. Let's see. Maybe I've watched this one too. Oh, I haven't watched this one. Holy shit, that's loud. Holy shit. So loud.
This is Joshua Block. If you don't already know him, you'd be forgiven.
Okay, so I know this guy, but I haven't watched this video. But I know this guy. I feel like I know this guy. Did Umpaville make a video on this guy? Maybe that's how I know this guy. Let's turn off the capture card sound. There we go. Wait. Did he? I think he did, right? What is his name? Josh Block? Josh Block. Umpaville. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I know this guy. Yeah, I watched Umpaville's video on it. Okay. I probably don't remember anything about it, so we'll watch it anyway.
Given for thinking he just escaped from a
Okay,
mental
is that loud
asylum.
enough?
However, he's actually a very popular
Too
content
loud?
creator, with his
Can you
World
make
of
it quieter?
T-shirts TikTok account boasting
What do you
2.6
reckon?
million followers. A man of many talents, he solidified his standing in the public consciousness through hard work and shrewd hustling. At least that's probably what he believes. The truth is that Joshua may be the only person who takes himself even slightly seriously. Ever since his unorthodox jump to stardom, he's worked overtime to erode every bit of goodwill his initial fans may have had for him, be it due to his violence outburst against a fish, the fact that many people take issue with him charging fans for photos, or having a smidge too much love for the bottle. This has resulted in him securing an audience hell-bent on seeing him completely self-destruct.
Yeah, it's too loud. What do you reckon?
What's the story behind the downfall of TikTok's newest lolcow?
Very loud for me. Decent? Okay. You can still hear me though? Or is it to the point where you can't hear me?
If you're one to believe websites
better
like
that way.
Wikitubia and Know Your Meme, you'll find that Joshua had
Why you
uploaded
guys
his
won't hear
first ever
some of
video
the
on September
weird shit that I
22nd,
say?
2020. And in fact, you'll see this repeated in multiple other places. But the story of Joshua and his channel go back further than that, all the way back to
What?
June of 2019, when the then 17-year-old first started
I
uploading
guess that
videos.
counts.
For a while, he would continue uploading them to minimal views, doing so simply for fun,
Send you
until
up
he
one more.
finally got his big break in October of that
I think
year,
that's the
which
sweet
was a
spot.
video of him eating crickets.
Yo, exotic food check.
How's your day, Ben? Benny? Good? Bad? Creamy? Crunchy?
It was with this initial success that the starstruck Joshua
Why
began
were
to
they
take
wet?
TikTok much more seriously. You see, ever since he was rather young, Josh had always dreamed of being self-employed, and he realized that TikTok was his golden ticket to boss mode. He would go on to do everything in his
Okay.
power to capitalize on
Oh,
this
that
in the
doesn't
short
bode
term,
well.
to very mixed success, with a lot of his videos from then to September 2020 getting 4-digit views. But despite the
Down
low amount
road?
of
Is he just
attention, the few
whistling the
popular
Old Town
uploads
Road?
he did have would be enough for him to slowly build a niche community, drawn to the
is he
channel by
doing?
his
Oh,
bizarre
rubbish.
behavior. The best example example of this is definitely his lip sync videos, which were some of his most popular content at the time. Take this one, in which he mouths the lyrics of My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. Except, mouthing may not be the right term here, as a more apt description might be that he's flapping his jaw like an upside down trash can in rhythm to the song's lyrics. Or take this example, where he laments the terribleness of the year 2020 by lip syncing Happy New Year by Studio 99. Both of these demonstrate a rather peculiar quality of Josh, one that could be argued to have been the initial thing that drew people in, his distinct lack of facial expressions. In the second video, despite talking about the death of someone important enough to him to make a whole TikTok out of it, he remains completely deadpan, with his eyes barely even moving throughout. It didn't take a genius to understand that there was something special about Josh, from his odd mannerisms to his very stilted delivery. This resulted in most of the growing fan base being composed of people who just made fun of him, seeing him in the same light as any other TikTok lolcow. But that was all Josh needed, and as his notoriety slowly increased, his videos would start getting a fair bit more views, with numerous uploads getting in excess of 100k hits, and some of them even got 200k. Staying true to his form, these were extremely varied. Everything from videos about the pandemic to random goofs to even more lip syncs. Of course, while it's easy for us to see that his main draw was the fact he was basically a laughingstock, it doesn't really seem Josh had caught on to that fact, because as he became more and more popular, he began looking for other avenues of potential growth. This would lead to him creating a YouTube channel by the name of World of Interviews on April 8th, 2020. Nothing's really known about this channel, as the only things you'll find on it are 2 videos with our titular hero. One of them is a short where he introduces us to what the channel is all about.
And they only interviewed him.
World of Interviews, a YouTube channel
Episode
where we do
2013.
podcast
Set
interviews
people on
with
fire.
famous TikTokers. Discover
LA.
your favorite celebrities today.
The second video is a 5-minute interview with the man himself, conducted by some random person who I haven't actually found
I've never
about
done
at
April
all.
Fools.
The video reveals some interesting
never
facts.
liked it.
For one, Josh
I was
shares with
just
us
sort
that
of
he had
stupid.
first downloaded the TikTok app in 2019,
But
and that
it's
he
the
had
same
started
thing with,
uploading
like,
on it
I
around
don't do
August.
Valentine's
He mentions
Day.
how
I
by
think
September
Valentine's
he
Day's
fell in love
stupid.
with TikTok, and by October he became TikTok famous in his own
the
words.
one
He
I
also went
probably
on to
do
share
is
with us that
probably
he had
Easter, right?
240,000 followers at
I
this
do
point in
Easter,
time. He
but
then
only
says he's
because
in the
it's really
top
easy. You just buy
10,000 on
chocolate,
famous
give it to
birthdays,
children,
which, as
so
far as I can
it's
tell,
very
is
easy
correct.
holiday.
When asked what exactly he owes this success to, he credits the fact that his uploads tend to be varied, as opposed to, you know, the actual reason people were watching him, which seems to be completely over his head.
I do variety videos. Most people on the app only stick to one thing.
Throughout the interview, he presents this YouTube channel as a guaranteed cash cow,
most
planning
apps,
to use
right?
his TikTok success and the
just
success of
TikTok.
other large TikTok creators he would interview to launch his YouTube channel into orbit. There wasn't much more to the interview besides the fact he once again mentions how he's still in high school at this point. For context, he was born August 7th, 2001, which would have made him 18 years old. We'll get deeper into the implications of this a bit later, but keep that tucked in your noggin. This concludes with a few more TikToks made by Joshua, which are about the same quality as you would expect, with his signature stilted delivery. Overall, the whole video was pretty boring, which is enough of an explanation for why it never really took off. Besides being confused on whether the interview was shot by Joshua or the interviewer, most people were far more interested in the mysterious figure standing in Joshua's doorway in the first half of the video. Questions about it were completely unanswered for the time being. Regardless, the channel was very quickly abandoned for reasons that should be obvious enough to anyone. But
people
that didn't
like
mean he
April
was done
Fools?
experimenting with content. In September of 2020,
I've
he
never
would once again
understood it.
attempt to diversify his audience by creating a secondary TikTok account called the Starbucks Club, which in his own words was a channel meant purely for people who drank Starbucks, as explained thoroughly across the first 3 videos on his channel. While the channel definitely had more of that unique Joshua flair than the YouTube, it seems he would abandon it pretty quickly after not finding success. Joshua is extremely familiar with the sunk cost fallacy, but there was some good news. While the side projects were a miserable failure, the World of T-Shirts channel was doing pretty well, so Josh continued to upload on it consistently. But at this point, he was still quite unknown, with his fan base being very insulated. All of this would change on the hallowed day of September 22nd, with the upload of a quaint little video in which he mouths the lyrics to some parody song, staying true to form by looking like the main character of Ride to Hell Retribution. Now, this video is actually not that remarkable in terms of views, as at this point, he would be getting 200.
So is his entire content just that? And putting on lip gloss, I guess? How did he become popular? I don't understand. And can you stop licking the floor? What? Oh, okay. I was assaulted by a child. I think someone's here. Yeah, so what's this guy's... How did this guy get famous, Benny? If his content is just him mouthing to songs. and putting on lip gloss. I don't understand. His weird behavior? Is that it? Bro, people are so easily entertained.
200,000 views pretty regularly, but it does serve as a split-off point between obscurity and a sudden rise to fame. Because you see, at this point, the sky was the limit for our friend with the steely gaze, and he started uploading hundreds upon hundreds of videos to his TikTok channel every single month, with a number of them scoring very solid views, including this oddball duet where he humorously judges an obvious joke TikTok. But the real difference came as September ended. When he finally broke the 200,000 view roof he had been confined to for so long, with an upload on the 2nd of October. This video was dedicated to enlightening his viewers about the facts that pandemics happen roughly every 100 years, listing a couple of plagues going about 300 years back, and managing to actually get 2 million views for this.
Wait, is his YouTube called World of, or TikTok called World of T-shirts? Why? Does he wait? Does he like wear a lot of different T-shirts in videos? Is he like a fan of T-shirts? Why would you like what? We explain later on. Okay, it's very strange.
Informative piece. Just a few days later, however, he would go on to beat this record with a video where he painted his tongue 2 different colors with the use of some gummies, helpfully explaining to us the entire process.
So these will change the color of your tongue permanently for weeks. We're gonna put these in my mouth and wait 10 minutes.
I don't think he understands how food dye works. Oh,
it's not coming off.
Oh no. I would pay any money.
This video shattered his previous record from just a few days prior with 10 million views. His before insulated audience had now expanded, as millions of unaware and very confused normies were exposed to the world of t-shirts, expressing a mix of sheer befuddlement and amusement in the comments. With videos like these and many, many more.
I just had a thought. I don't know if it's bad to say this or not, but is TikTok more for people with like mental disabilities? Is that what's happening? Because I just remembered that there's a lot of accounts on TikTok of people with like Down syndrome doing things. So maybe just think like maybe that's why these people get famous. Because people with mental disabilities are like, they think this is really funny. Could that be why? Because otherwise, it makes no sense. Like, who's watching this guy stick 2 gummies on his tongue to see if his tongue goes 2 different colors? Other than, like, people with mental disabilities. Or, like, children? I know there's a lot of children on TikTok. But I'm saying this because, like, I've had a lot of those accounts with people with Down syndrome pop up. Like on my feed. That's got to be the reason, right? Because like, is he on YouTube? I feel like on YouTube he probably wouldn't do as well. I feel like this is a TikTok thing, right? It's the same thing as like why Daniel Larson got so big, right? On TikTok. Because on YouTube, people aren't going to watch that crap.
His whole channel exploded, getting 4 times the followers in October compared to what he got in September. He had become a veritable normie magnet, as his content became ever present on TikTok front pages. Anyway. However, while all this success was certainly nothing to scoff at, this was merely a precursor for what was to come. As our
Wait, go back. Hold on. Look at this fucking leap,
veritable normie magnet, as his content became ever present on TikTok front pages. However, while all this success was certainly
what the fuck, bro? He did that with ease. Is this dude Spider-Man? What is this shit?
As his content became ever present on TikTok
front pages.
Gets. However, while all this success was certainly nothing.
What the fuck? Am I the only one impressed by that? That's insane. Crackhead strength. Yeah, that's fucking mental. Bro, he got so much height from that.
To scoff at, this was
That's
merely
crazy.
a precursor for what was to come, as our eternally ambitious main hero would not be satisfied with just filming himself at home being utterly asinine.
Oh god,
So at the
he's
tail
Johnny
end of
Somali,
2020,
man.
he would dedicate his time into a slightly different kind of content, music. Josh announced his first song in November of 2020, set
I thought
to be
he was
released
going
on
to
the
public
1st
and
of
annoying people in
December.
public.
He announced it in much the same way you would probably expect from him at this point, sounding perhaps even more deadpan than he usually does, which is pretty impressive.
Is he a crackhead?
I'm
I thought he was
releasing
an
a
alcoholic.
song on December 1st. It's very short, it's only about a minute long, but it's all about COVID. Since I have Select,
Is this
it'll
around
go
when
to
COVID was
TikTok,
happening, or is
Instagram,
this after COVID?
Spotify, and a whole lot of other platforms.
What year are
Be
we in?
ready, it'll be coming.
Indeed, Josh would grace us with the release of his song on Spotify, and frankly, it's a beauty. During the 47-second runtime, he reminds us of just how good he had it in 2019.
Oh, I thought the song was
and
called
how as soon as
Norma.
we entered 2020, our whole world came crashing down.
I remember 2019, living our best lives. New Year's Eve came along,
What?
looking forward to 2020. It marked the new decade. Everything was fine till March.
Bro, the voice of an
Toilet
angel.
shortage, quarantine, masks,
He needs to be on
social
Eurovision.
distancing. No job, no school, no nothing. Lockdown. Everything canceled. Oh no.
What was he
This
doing
artful
before the
piece would end up
lockdown?
netting him around 65,000 listeners on Spotify. With that initial success, Josh saw there was a potential for his music. So only a month later, he announced a new song on the 31st of December, while
Wasn't
he
he-
danced joyfully to a
wasn't he
small
just doing this
excerpt.
crackhead
As for the
stuff
song
before
itself, it would also be released on
the
Spotify. And if
lockdown?
you thought the last one was life-changing, then
So
you're
his
not
life didn't
prepared for
change
what I'm about
much.
to show you. It was a love ballad dedicated to, as the name suggests, coffee and boba tea.
Wake up in the morning, throw some clothes on, check my phone, run out the door.
Wait.
Where do I go? Of course, to get some coffee and some boba tea.
The song would end up doing better numbers on
Is he singing about his love for coffee and boba tea, or is coffee in love with boba tea? What's happening? I'm confused. Wait, who gets coffee and tea, by the way? Like, never once in my life have I thought, I'm going to have a coffee and I'm going to have a tea. Oh, we're in 2020. There we go. Like, it's either one or the other. I'm not getting both.
Spotify, getting around 130,000 hits. Seeing the monumental success, Josh felt inclined to truly capitalize. He created his own website, registering it
Ooh,
under the
look out.
domain worldofT-shirts.com on the 1st of February, later
He
being
has a
changed
website?
to
That's more than me.
worldofT-shirts.ai.
Ah.
The website serves a few purposes, advertising his music and selling his merch, which contains various
He has
memes and
merch?
in-jokes from his community. But it's at this point that Joshua shifts his TikTok content pretty much entirely, and on the 14th of
Bro, he's
March
doing way more
2021,
stuff than I
already a
am.
few months after his initial blow-up,
This crackhead
uploaded a
makes me
video
look
of
bad.
himself standing in Times Square, loudly singing Empire State of Mind by Jay-Z, specifically the part sung by Alicia Keys, all while surrounded by a crowd
so
of
goddamn
bemused
lazy.
onlookers.
In New
Crackheads are making me look bad.
York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of.
It's
There's
Wet
nothing
Dreams
you
Tomatoes.
can't do.
Get it
Now
right?
You're in New York.
This got him over 30 million views, setting the
believe he
stage
got
for
that
exactly
wrong.
the kind of content we would expect. He was
Wet
no longer
Dream
creating content
Tomatoes.
from the confines of his home. Instead, he was making the exact same thing, but out on the streets of New York,
You know what's
which
funny?
made it even
I
funnier
watch a
because
lot
you
of
got
Turkey Tom videos. I haven't watched the Chris Chan one, and I think it's because I watched the Geno Samuel thing. So I was probably like, I don't need to watch that. I know it all. Pointless. I know all this information, so I just never watched it. That's actually kind of funny.
to see bystanders in the background look at him like, what the f are you doing? It's with this shift in location that our protagonist would reach the peak of popularity, gaining 640,000
He's a
followers in
handsome
March
man.
alone. His
I'm not
videos
gonna-
were getting millions
I'm
of
not gonna
views,
deny
and
that.
his streams
He's
were
not bad
attended by
looking.
tens of thousands of people.
If he was
Well, it's hard to
normal,
say
he
if
probably
made
would be
any
able to
money.
get a girlfriend.
It probably wasn't nothing. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that this new style of content wouldn't just attract a lot of attention from online fans, but also
will
people
say,
in
though, he
real
grows a
life who would
shitty beard.
regularly go on to meet him in public while he was filming. With such a recognizable
He
appearance
grows a
and
beard like my
cadence, he's pretty
like my
hard
cousin.
to
My
miss.
cousin
Now,
grows
to
a
most
similar
regular
beard.
people, I'm sure the idea of constantly being
Just
harassed by
splotchy and all
fans
over the
doesn't
place.
sound that appealing, but for Josh, this was a catastrophe, one he wouldn't respond to in the healthiest manner. He would begin charging his fans $50 for the privilege of taking a photo with him, with multiple videos being released of him basically demanding money from fans. Of these, perhaps the most popular is a video of him in Central Park, where a fan pays him to sing a song, with Josh looking even more dead-eyed than usual.
Yeah, New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made.
Wet Dream
of.
Tomatoes.
There's
Stop singing it wrong.
nothing you can't do.
Wrong with these
Now
people?
you're in New York.
How much money did he
The
pay him
response
for
to this was very mixed. While the YouTube video that first shared this moment largely sided with Josh, there were other people in his own community who were baffled. This would culminate in his fans asking him why he charges people on a TikTok livestream. There, he would give a rather interesting response.
I charge my fans for photos because if I just take their picture, they're gonna get famous quickly for nothing.
Of course, it's his prerogative to charge or not charge people for photos. I mean, if he tells them ahead of time, hey, you gotta pay me to take a picture, they don't want to do it, it's whatever. I'm just curious what this response even means.
Wait, what? It's because they take a picture with you doesn't mean they're going to become famous. How famous does he think he is? Like, there's girls that have dated George Clooney that no one fucking knows about. And they've had plenty of pictures taken with him. Probably with their cock in his mouth, too. Like, what? What are you talking about?
Like, if you want money, say because I want money. Instead, it's they'll get famous quickly for nothing. What does that mean? Despite this, he would actually catch some flack from his fans, as many of them view this habit of his as proof that he only sees his fans as a source of income.
Oh, wait.
People especially
Your message is being held. Hold on. Let me fix it. Sure. What'd you say? You're a virgin? Yes, with rage. We were going to watch Chris Chan, but decided on this.
took issue with his comment about how he doesn't just want people blowing up in popularity.
We might
for
still
free,
watch a
which
Chris
they
Chan
saw
video
as him
after this,
pulling up
though.
the ladder. That said, plenty of people still defend this practice, saying that
Who
part
said
of why
that?
he likely does that
Gojira.
is to dissuade
Fine.
random people from constantly approaching him. And the charging simply means that the only people he may get approached by are actual
Not saying
fans,
any.
at least in theory.
Uh,
It is worth
well, I
noting he
just-
would later drop
I
these
just said
prices,
show,
only
so
charging
maybe
$10
that's
for
why.
pictures and $20 for videos. Of course, this didn't actually stop people from taking pictures
Uh-huh.
and videos of him in creepshot fashion. If anything, this
YouTube
only
is
further
weird, though,
emboldened them to
so
sneakily
maybe it
try to
just didn't
video
show
him
for you.
and then upload those videos to their own TikToks, with some of these going downright
Did it
viral.
even
A
show?
TikTok user
Yeah.
by the name of Fern would upload a video of Joshua
not
walking
bacon?
down the street,
What?
making fun of his amusing
I'm
stride.
bacon?
But none of
Why am
this
I
ever
bacon?
got in the way of his monumental rise in popularity. In fact, as time went on, it seems a lot of people did genuinely start to root for him beyond just
Had zero interface for that message? Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. It was like, how long ago was it when some people's messages weren't even showing on your side? They were all showing for me, but they weren't showing for some of you guys. YouTube's just weird, bro. It just breaks all of a sudden. So you know, right? Was it yesterday's stream or the stream before? I think it was the stream before. All through the stream, YouTube told me that it kept popping up as I was streaming. I just didn't mention it. But I want to say like at least 30 times, YouTube told me that it was broken and the stream had ended. Right? But nothing happened. The stream was completely fine. But on YouTube's end, it was telling me like, oh, it's broken. The stream's ending. I'm like, okay. And so I just ignored it. And then nothing happened. So I was like, cool. So I just kept ignoring the messages after that. Like, YouTube's just, like, really weird. It's always done it.
just
Oh, I
treating
don't
him as a
know.
lol cow. Even if many of the fans were intent on making fun of him, no one really thought of him as like a negative guy or an evil person. He was just someone who was kind of silly and funny to watch. But his
Wait, this isn't the guy that started speaking to minors or whatever, right? Or, wait, no, they didn't speak. What was it? They, like, got obsessed with a minor? That's not this guy, is it? Or was that a different one? Because I remember the long-haired one started speaking to minors and was really weird. But there was another one. No? Who was that one? Was that Daniel Larson? There was one that like got obsessed with a minor, right? To the point where like they were stalking him or whatever. Larson? Yeah. They like convinced him that they were dating or something. Like people online convinced him that they were dating each other or something like that.
grandest moment was yet to come. It was a short while after the charging fans incident that he would
Embrace?
orchestrate
Yeah.
what many view
That's
as
the
the
chick.
high point of his entire career. On the 25th of May, 2021, just a few months after he had begun live streaming, he gathered his fans in Times Square for a unique event when one of the billboards began to show an advertisement for his channel while he called himself the King of the Concrete Jungle.
Doesn't that cost a lot of money?
For anybody who's curious, a spot in Times Square could run you as little as $5,000 per day to as much as $50,000 per day depending on the ad and the length. Around this time, he would also do a small collaboration
Seems
with a
long,
sizable
though.
YouTube channel
Bro, that's
called
crazy.
Side Talk, which focuses on interviewing people they meet while walking the streets. During this video,
I don't like
Josh does
kids,
another
really.
rendition of the
They
song
annoy
that
me.
propelled him to stardom, gives a spicy
Um,
hot take about school lunches, and charges one of the people present $25 for a photo. Notably,
I'll
the video
explain
also
this.
includes
It's gonna sound really weird, but children are obsessed with me, like IRL. What's your child wants? Tushy. Tushy. Yeah, they're like obsessed with me. So I don't know why. It's always been a thing, even when I was like young. They always just like gravitate towards me and want to hang around me and play with me. I don't know why. So yeah, I've been like a child magnet since I was young. I don't know why. They're obsessed with me. I like babies, right? Babies are fine. Babies are great. But when they start to be able to like run around and touch things, that's when you're like, okay, you're annoying now. Because now I have to keep an eye on you because you could break something right now. What are they, like toddlers? Yeah, toddlers. I don't really like toddlers. And then babies are so adorable. Yeah. Yeah, I've turned into like an old lady now. I really like babies. Babies cute. And babies really like me, and I think it's because my glasses. They like babies like people with glasses, I've noticed. But I like my niece and nephew. They're fine. Like they're 15 and 10. Oh, 11 now. She's at her birthday. They're 15 and 11, so they're fine. That's because like they don't annoy me, I guess. But other people's children annoy me. Yeah, and I have no explanation on why kids have always gravitated towards me. I don't know. I don't get it. But yeah. Give me a face, Mr. Duck. Why? Are you saying that you want children to be gravitating towards you too? Do we need to be worried, Gojira? You've dug yourself into a hole here. You want kids to come to you? No? Sounds like you do. Typical mod question. Go ahead and shoot me a message when she's 18. Gonna go puke now. Oh, what you mean, like, yeah. Oh, don't worry. There was my father's ex-wife. Her father was an absolute scumbag piece of shit. He had friend, I don't know how old his friend was, but the guy's daughter was 15, and he was sitting there talking to me and his grandson, by the way, when we were like 18, talking about how hot this 15-year-old girl was, that was his friend's daughter, and talking about how he dreams of sleeping with her and all this sort of shit. It was disgusting. Meanwhile, this guy's like in his late 50s, right? Yeah, he was a piece of shit, and then was like bragging to us about all these young girls that he'd slept with. You know, like his grandson was 17, I was like 18. Like I don't know why, but he assumed he thought that was cool, and we'd think he was cool. I don't know, but I was just sitting there thinking to myself, this guy's disgusting. Never grew up with a dad. You never grew up, or he never grew up. I don't know if he did or not, but I know he was a piece of shit. On it, yeah. And there was, by the way, my brother at the time would have been 16. Yeah, 16. And he had a girlfriend that lived behind where we lived, who was also around the same age, and he wouldn't stop talking about how hot she was. Right? And then that same guy, this was the last straw, and I said to my dad, never again. It would have been that same year when I was 18. When my dad was getting married to her, I brought my girlfriend, who was around the same age as me. I think she would have been 17, and I was 18, I think. And he picked us up, and on the drive over there, he wouldn't stop asking us about our sex life. The entire drive. Meanwhile, my brother was in the car too. And we didn't tell him anything because it's fucking weird. And then I told my dad when I got there. And then I think they went over and said something to him. But yeah, he was fucking disgusting. But yeah, he was the type where like, what was that? There was one that was the worst that happened. Someone came around with their kid, and I think she would have been like 5 or 6, something like that. And I remember him saying to me, I think it was me, my dad, and someone else. I can't remember who the other person was, but he was like, "Oh, she's going to be really pretty when she's 18." And we were like, "What?" Meanwhile, the girl's like, fuck off. It was like 5 or 6. So it's like, his body / grave. He's not dead. He's still very much alive. He's probably like 70 something now, I assume, around that, because I think he was in his late 50s at that time. So yeah, I actually knew someone who was like that. Also, my dad had a friend who was gay, who would like, he was James Charles, pretty much. That's the best way I can explain it. He would be like, "Oh, who's that?" And you'd tell him, "Oh, is he gay? No, he's straight. For now." He would always say, "For now." And you're like, okay. Can I change his living status? I don't even know where he lives anymore. Like, after that time, that was the last time I ever saw him. He never came back because like after he left, we all told his daughter, who was my father's wife at the time, we never want to see him again. Like, he's disgusting. And by the way, same guy has 3 daughters. So if he's saying that about other people's daughters, none of them have ever admitted it. But if he's willing to say that about other people's daughters, and even to the point where he's talking about he wants to sleep with other people's daughters, I'm just saying. Bit sus. You know what I mean? Why would he stop at other people's children when he has 3 at home? Oh, bro, I just looked at Asta. He's so comfy right now. Like, he's out of it. He's so asleep. Now my stomach's turning, yeah. And rage is building up. Are you also a virgin? Are we in this together? I think it was 7, right? Yeah.
It's one of the first, if not the first, use of a meme that will become rather popular on his channel, wherein he tells viewers that he's wearing Louis Vuitton because he was banned from Gucci. Overall, this first interview ended up being pretty successful, netting them 600,000 views and a
Wait,
pretty
what'd that
positive
just say?
reception from commenters, who took the time
Did he just say he'd be banned? What? Got Louis Vuitton because I'm banned from Gucci. What? How the fuck does that happen? Well, yes, even though I had a girlfriend for almost 3 years, you're a virgin? Really? Bro, I lost mine a very long time ago. I would have been 13, 14. 13? 14. 13 or 14. One of the two. And she would have been 17? Yeah, I think she was like 17. I forget about that stuff. Yeah, I didn't really. I did it, and then everyone asked me, and I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh my god, that's so cool. I was like, okay. But to me, I was like, I'm confused. Nothing's changed. I feel the same. I don't get it. I feel exactly the same as before I did it. Hugging sleep next to each other. What? Oh, do you mean hugging? Oh, yeah, hugging, sleep next to each other. Spending time was enough to satisfy myself. No, I don't like physical contact. So for me, it was more. I liked walks. I liked walking, just walking and talking. That was what I enjoyed. Was that, and it was like, it wasn't even like talking about important things. It was just like talking about whatever. Like most of the time, it was like we just talk about what we did that day. That was what I liked. It was the only upside to being in a relationship. Other than that, all the rest kind of sucked. Boom.
that he's wearing Louis Vuitton because he was
I
banned
feel like virginity is very different for men and women, right? Men feel the need more to lose it than women, but the thing is, once you've lost it as a man, it's you're not different, right? You don't feel different. It feels the same, right? But for a woman, I would imagine it would actually feel different. You would feel different. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Because like I just remember that I didn't feel any different. I just had more knowledge. That was it. I just knew things now. Ah, Trubbish! Oh my god. How dare you run away from me? But yeah, I assume for women it probably does make you feel different.
from Gucci. Overall, this first interview ended up being pretty successful, netting them 600,000 views and a pretty positive reception from commenters, who took the time to poke a little fun. It also said that him only charging $25 was a blessing. The interview was so successful that Side Talk made another one just a few weeks later, where Josh once again...
Like, I can't stand certain sounds. There's a lot of smells that I don't like. Like, there's a candle store at the shops that we go to. I hate it. I hate walking past it. It is the worst. I hate it. Like smells, like I have problems with a lot of things. But yeah, touch is probably like one of the big ones. That and smell, I would say. I like my empathy-filled sexual life. Asexual life. I say life is good. And yours. What? Life is good and yours, mate? What do you mean? My life's good?
and wowed the crowd with his on-screen presence. And when told that 6ix9ine claimed the title of King of New York, Josh bluntly asserts that he is in fact the true king.
What do you want to say to 6ix9ine right now? He claims to be the king of New York.
I'm the king of New York. 6ix9ine is not the king. I am. I'm out here with no security.
That-
Security's for quitters. A money bag job.
6ix9ine, is that Takashi or Takeshi or whatever the fuck his name is? Is that who he's talking about? Wait, who's he talking about right now? If my life is good, that's fine. I mean, I'm having fun. That's all I care about. How can I not like my life? I wake up, I play video games, talk to you guys. Then once I end stream, I go play with my dogs for a bit out the back. What? Oh, he woke up. And then after that, come inside, watch some stuff or read. Sometimes I like hang out with my niece and nephew. My life's pretty good. I don't really have anything to complain about. And I don't really regret anything either, which is good. Like, you know how people have like regrets on things? I don't have regrets on like anything. I'm trying to think if I have one. No, I can't think of anything. Because I had regrets. I don't. I can't think of anything. Slowly grow out of them. Like, because the way I see it, right? I like where I'm at. So if I was to regret anything, then that would mean that I regret where I'm at now, right? Does that make sense? Because everything that I did up to before this, where I'm at now, led me to this point. So I don't really regret any of it, because it all led me here. I feel like that makes sense, right? Because like I used to regret dropping out of high school, right? I used to regret that a lot. But if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't be here. I would probably be doing something else. Something more important, more meaningful to society. But I wouldn't be here. So I just stopped regretting it. So I don't really regret anything. I'd say that that's probably the only thing I've ever actually regretted. It's just that. But I don't anymore. I guess you're right. And wrong at the same time. I need to shave my mustache. It's getting in my mouth. It's really annoying me. It's all I can feel as I talk. It's bugging me. Ah! Oh. I was touched. It wasn't by an angel. Who's 6ix9ine? Is that the guy that went to prison? With the tattoos all over his face? Ugh. The snitch? Okay, yeah, it's the same guy I'm thinking of. Yeah, he has like 6ix9ine written on his face.
Josh.
Just like last time, this one blew up, albeit not as much. Following the
Jesus.
success of these interviews, an unaffiliated song artist by the
Bro,
name
Jesus
of Felix
was trippy.
Cartal would make the banned from the Gucci store meme into a song, which, in fairness to the artist, is miles better
Wait.
than anything Josh has ever produced. Overall,
Is he actually banned from the Gucci store? There's no way. How did he get banned from the Gucci store? What did he do? Has Tom said what he did to get banned? And I missed it? Maybe I yapped over it. How did he get banned from the Gucci store? I feel like it's got to be hard, right?
despite this early hiccup with charging fans money, he used his time in the spotlight pretty well. And
What?
while many people did view him as more of a
What's
laughing
that?
stock than genuine content
Oh, it's
creator,
that
he
fucking
had
chip.
enough genuine viewers watching to get by. Around this time, he also began getting the attention of mainstream media, with online publications
Bro, he
beginning
used to be
take
kinda
notice.
handsome,
One
now
of
he's
these would
like-
be posted on an
now he's
internet
weird.
news outlet
I liked
called
his hair
The
before.
Tab, in which the author would do a little
Why'd he
deep
shave
dive
it
on
off?
some of his history, including the controversy of demanding payments. They also brought up a very interesting claim, showing what the author believes to be an older TikTok account of Joshua's, and how around that time it had been reactivated, posting a very questionable meme. Hello, base department. Gonna need you guys to come down here. Now, I should note that while it's interesting to ponder, it's very unlikely Josh would ever post something like this. For one, whenever he attempts to do humor, it's extremely different in comparison, and for two, there's a high likelihood he might not even be interested in that sort of stuff, at least if Reddit detectives are to be believed, referring to a screenshot of a dating app called Grindr on his home screen, as well as an interesting little clip where he
Isn't that the gay
suggests that
one?
he had been banned from the app. Regardless, while this article made some leaps of logic, it was arguably just one more notch in Joshua's belt, proving just how solidly he had made himself part of mainstream culture by then. Unfortunately, things went sour pretty quickly after. Around early June, sometime prior to the second Side Talk video,
So, did his content just evolve into, like, I'm gonna go stand in the middle of New York and do stupid shit? Is that really what happened? Does he live near there? Isn't there a lot of people walking through there at, like, all times? Doesn't that run the risk of his, like, phone and shit getting stolen? I feel like it's not safe, right? Is he gay? I have too many questions. He's got to be gay, right? Because he had Grindr on his phone.
Josh got together with a random fan, and the two decided to do some fishing in the Hudson River. While things started off innocent enough, they quickly turned into something far more sinister, when upon successfully catching a bluegill and pulling it out of the water, Josh proceeded to throw it on the ground forcefully and stomp on it like the lead singer of Sabaton, all while bearing the happiest smile I think I've ever seen. The reason he gives in the video for being this brutal is he justifies it by saying a fish shouldn't spend time in such dirty water, ostensibly making this stomping action an act of mercy.
Wait, what? What? Bro, it's like an episode of The In-Betweeners when he punches the fish in the face. And he's like, it won't be able to survive now that it's been out of the water. Would you smash him? His previous form, yeah. When he had like the longish hair. Not this one, where he shaved his hair. I don't like his hair. He ruined it. He was really cute before. Now he's like... Now he's not as cute. Bando agrees. Hey. Stop it. No one cares. Good girl. So... His reasoning for why he had to stomp on the fish was because the water was dirty. And it shouldn't have to live in dirty water? Did I get that right? But are people upset because he did it with a smile? It's the neighbors. No one cares. Wait, you have too much to say. No. No, don't talk about it like that. Stop it. So why are people mad? It's a fish. I don't understand why people are mad. Like, so this is what I'm gonna try and explain it. If you took a bug, right? If a child finds a bug, some children, you know what they do? They pull off every leg of that bug, one by one, and then watch the bug squirm around, and then eventually they kill it, right? Or they just leave it and walk away after they've ripped off all the legs. Stomping a living creature to death, killing it quickly, then killing it quickly. Yeah, but like my issue here is like, if he was to do that to a bug, right? Like I was saying, pull off every leg, and then just like stomp on it, or even leave it there to just die. People wouldn't care, right? Because it's a bug. But because it's a fish, people care, right? But then you also have like, if he did that to a rat, there's people who wouldn't care about that because it's a rat, right? You get what I mean? It's very stupid that people care or act like they care when I don't even think they probably do. They're probably just doing it to seem virtuous. Like, it's so dumb to me because, like, do people realize what you have to do to be able to eat a fish? Like, the people who got mad at this are probably people who have never been fishing, right? Like, do you understand that you have to, like, you have to gut them and scale them and, like, to be able to eat them, right? How is that better than him stomping them? Because majority of the time, what people do when they go fishing is they just stab a knife and then cut the fish open and then rip its guts out. They don't, like, kill it. Like, that's how they kill it. Do you think that is better than what he did? Like, I feel like people who get mad at things like this are people who don't actually, who have never actually, like, been fishing or hunting or whatever, and don't understand what goes into actually, like, processing the animal after killing it, right? It's just as cruel. The only thing I can say is maybe he likes his meat tenderized. Maybe that's why he's doing it. But either way, if he was going to eat the fish, he still would have had to kill it. And it wouldn't have been any prettier.
After that, he continues to throw the fish on the ground repeatedly without saying a word, letting out a demented giggle. This, understandably,
But, like, I
wouldn't
do
go
get that,
unnoticed.
like, what he, like, it is insane. It seems like he's, like, just enjoying killing the thing. But I'm more, I don't like how most people, like, they just jump on the bandwagon to seem like they care when they don't.
As the video quickly made waves around TikTok, with re-uploads of it getting upwards of 1 million views. It would also be uploaded to r/public freakout, where it got quite a bit more attention, with hundreds of comments asking how a person could do such a cruel thing. Largely, they pondered what kind of mental disorder.
Like I just said, like, these are people who like have never been fishing. You understand how he got the fish? He had to put a thing on a worm. Most of the time, you put in a live worm on your hook, right, to be able to get the fucking fish. The fish then bites. You then yank it from its home. Right? That's normal fishing. Do you not think that's cruel? Like, you get what I mean? Like, why does the cruel part, like calling him, oh, he's so cruel, why does it only start at the point where he's throwing the fish at the ground? Do you think hunting isn't cruel until someone actually shoots the deer? Like, you're going into their territory, you're stalking them, you're making them feel uneasy to the point where, like, it's insane. I don't get it. Like, be upset with the whole thing, not just the fact that he killed the fish. The whole fucking process is cruel. Not just the fact that he killed the fish.
Order he was suffering from that would convince
So
him this
dumb.
was a good idea, or, you know, make him
He'd
enjoy
be
this.
upset with
Well, it's hard
all
to
of
track
it
just
or
how
none of
large
it?
the backlash against him was at the time. It was clearly bad enough to where Josh felt the need to respond to it, which he would do in a now deleted TikTok. He defended himself by saying that the fish was already dead, which in his mind made it far less serious than it previously appeared. He also complained about how it had been filmed without his permission, as the fan had not actually paid him to
You need to
record.
fish it out. It
So a
wouldn't have
lot
already
of
been dead.
people are upset about a leaked video of me stomping on a fish. First of all, the fish was all
Was it leaked? Or did he just post it? I thought that was a video he posted. Was it a leaked video? I don't... I mean, I don't know. I was about to say someone wouldn't post that of their own volition, but then again, he just seemed pretty crazy. I just noticed his glasses aren't on right. That's bugging me. Oh, I don't like it. Now that I've noticed it, every time I look at him, it's all I can see.
already dead. The person who recorded me without my permission. They didn't pay the cameo, so they
Didn't he
weren't
look at the
even
camera?
supposed to record me, but they posted it to set me up so that they
He
would
looked at the
have an
camera.
excuse to
You
try
knew you
and
were being
cancel
recorded. What are you
me.
talking about?
I did not kill anything. The fish was already dead.
Given the original had been deleted, we can probably assume it was not well received by the public. The re-upload I showed was released around the same time as this whole drama was occurring, and the comment section is pretty much all disapproval, going as far as to suggest his behavior was a clear example of animal abuse, which can be a telling sign of a potential serial killer. The other, more rational commenters focus on the fact that he doesn't seem to even understand
I mean,
why
if
what
you're
he
dumb
done
enough
was
to get
wrong in
killed
the
by
first
that guy, I
place.
think
The
you
whole
kinda
drama would
deserve it.
actually make its way onto YouTube, where the clip of him stomping out a fish made some waves. Well, not
Because,
as big as
you
it
know,
was in other
like-
places, you had some relatively large YouTube
It doesn't seem like he's going to be able to plan out a murder. You know what I mean? Like, if you're stupid enough to be murdered by that man, then you must be fucking in, like... You get what I'm saying? Like, he does not seem smart enough to plan out a murder. So I'm not really worried about him becoming a serial killer.
YouTubers like Mitchell Reacts covering it. Right around the time this fish video was released, the explosive growth of Joshua's TikTok stopped altogether.
What a
Although
weird
whether this
statement.
is because of the
Right around
drama
the time
he was
where his
finding
fish
himself in,
video
or simply
released.
because people had lost interest, can't be said for certain. What can
If
be
you
said
just
for
hear
certain
that,
is that
you, like-
same month, Josh went on to achieve something quite important in his
Doesn't
personal
that sound
life.
like a
He
little weird,
graduated
right?
from high
Like he did
school.
something,
Many viewers
like,
made note of the fact
sexual
he
to
was
the
almost
fish?
20 at the time of graduation,
just me?
which confirms he was held back
Skill
at least a
issue.
year. But despite the minor
Yeah,
bit of
exactly.
good news, Josh wasn't quite done with June. While doing a TikTok live stream in a hotel
Wait, he
room, he was
graduated?
doxxed live on air as he received a call on the room's landline saying exactly where he was located at the time. Understandably, this led to a bit of a freak out on his end as he spun about the room like a chicken with his head cut off. This whole situation escalated even further when at some point Josh was kicked out of the hotel entirely after the supposed doxer had convinced the hotel staff that he'd made a bomb threat. The interaction he has with the fan who recorded the video ends up being pretty amusing, as even with a stressful situation, Josh is still committed to the hustle, accepting $50 for giving the fan a privilege to film. But that wasn't quite the end of it, as the whole fish stomping incident began to pop up again, but not in the way you might think. People began to
Does he get, if you get kicked out of a hotel, because I've never stayed in a hotel, right? Because I think if I ever tried to stay in a hotel, I wouldn't be able to sleep. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense to anyone but me. I don't know. I would just feel so uncomfortable that I wouldn't be able to sleep. So I don't even bother trying to stay in a hotel. But if you get kicked out of a hotel, do they give you your money back? Or are they just like, sucks to suck, I guess. Thanks for the money. See you later. Because I feel like they would have to give you your money back, right? Should I Google this? Google this. See what Google has to say. If you are kicked out of college, what? Out of a hotel, do you just leave? That's actually kind of funny. Do you get your money back? If you are legitimately kicked out of a hotel for violating their rules or causing a disturbance, you likely won't receive a full refund, but you may be entitled to a partial refund. But like, I feel like he would have had to get his money back, right? Because he didn't. It wasn't his fault. Somebody else rung up and said he might have a bomb. So he should be entitled to get a full refund, right? So he'd be able to get his money back at least. Because I was going to say, hotels aren't cheap, right?
Ass flagged the World of T-Shirts TikTok account, which led to a temp ban in late July. As a result, he brought the Starbucks Club channel back to life and uploaded a teary-eyed apology where he begged for his account to be unbanned, giving a more thorough explanation of the bluegill bonanza.
Okay, I'm sorry about the fish. It was a wrong thing for me to...
Wait. His account got banned for the fish video, but that means he posted the fish video. How is it a leak? What? Did it get leaked and then he was like, oh, I'll just post it on mine? Is that what happened? Or was it originally posted on his channel? Am I going insane? Or is he crazy? Who's crazy? Animal cruelty isn't allowed on TikTok. Yeah, I get that, right? Well, actually, I get that and I don't get that at the same time, right? And I'll explain why in a minute. But what I want to know is, the original video, did he post it on his channel? Because if so, then it's not a leak, right? A leak would imply somebody else posted it. But if his channel got banned, then wouldn't it be on his channel? Because otherwise, why would his channel get banned? Like, it makes no sense. Got leaked, but still it comes back to him. So they banned him even though it wasn't on his channel? Then how does he have a second channel? Okay, TikTok's just fucking stupid. But the animal cruelty thing, right? I get that it's not allowed on TikTok. I understand that, right? But the amount of fucking videos that have come up on my TikTok feed of dogs being attacked and killed by like jaguars or leopards or fucking something is ridiculous. Like, so many. And it was only because there was one video that I watched because I was like, what is this? It was like from a camera. Isn't considered as cruelty? Really? Because it's nature. But that's the thing. It wasn't in nature, though. This dog was just in its front yard, sleeping. And it was from like one of those cameras that you have like on the corner of your house or whatever. And it was like nighttime. And the dog was just like sleeping. And I was like, what is this video? And it made me curious, right? Because I was like, was like, this is weird. Why are we watching a video of this dog sleeping? Is something funny gonna happen? Because I watch a lot of videos with dogs doing funny things and cats. And then yeah, then fucking this out of nowhere, I'm like, what is that? It jumped on the top of the wall, and then just jumped down and killed the dog, and then went off with the dog. And I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? Because I watched that one video, I now get them recommended constantly. Because I watched one video. Because it was natural without human interaction. Oh, and then another one that popped up that I don't understand why it was on TikTok either. There was like people sleeping in the street. Like a guy was sleeping on top of a table, and then underneath him was his child sleeping underneath. And the same thing happened. Like a leopard came in and it grabbed the child and it ran away with the child. And I was like, what the fuck? And that was on TikTok. It was mental. Oh, and, what was the other one I saw recently? It was like this chick had 2 dogs. She had like a Chihuahua, and then she had like a Shiba, like a Shiba Inu or whatever they're called, like one of those. Considered as accidents. What, the leopard grabbing the child and running away with it? Okay, but yeah, this one, I guess this one was kind of an accident, but at the same time, like, wasn't. The Chihuahua was eating its food, and then the Shiba Inu came over, and the Chihuahua like went off with the Shiba Inu thing, and the Shiba Inu just bit it, like not like just quickly just bit it and let go. Like it wasn't like a bit it and shook it or anything like that. Just bit it real quick, and the chick screamed, and like the Shiba Inu ran away, and then the dog was just spasming on the ground. I was like, what the fuck? It died. The Shiba Inu snapped its neck in that instant of it biting it and killed the dog. It was crazy. And then I was like, I remember sitting there watching it and thinking, holy shit, the amount of times that happened with my dogs when I had Asta as a puppy, deserved for the little rat. Yeah, I don't like Chihuahuas either. But Asta would like eat his food, and Panda would come over and try and take it, and he would snap at her. But Panda was like, she doesn't like being like snapped at. So he would snap at her, and she would just like back off. So I guess I just got lucky. Because, bro, that could have happened to me like, so many times. Because, yeah, when it comes to his food, he's really snappy. Like that. And that thought never crossed my mind until I watched that video. And I was like, oh shit. He was so close to dying so many times. Like, the more I look back on it, the amount of times like she threw him off the hill out the back, or like smashed him into the pole out the back, or into the rock wall, or like that. Bro, he could have been dead so many times. She could have killed him so many times if she really wanted to. And then the eagle. I think, have I told this story about the sea eagle? I think I have. But I don't remember if I have. But I think I have. Oh, my mother's nearly empty. But yeah, he nearly got taken by a sea eagle. So yeah, at this point, he's kind of lucky to be alive. And then, you know, on the fact that, like, he also been fucking eating screws and rocks since he was a baby. Because he's fucked in the head. How he's still going is fucking mental. Iron Will. So his main account got banned because of the fish video that he didn't post. So is that like how is it Twitch or is it YouTube? No, it's YouTube, right? One of them, like, you can get banned for off-platform activities. If you do something off-platform on a different platform that breaks TOS on that platform, you can get banned. Twitch and YouTube? Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was Twitch as well, but I remember it was YouTube because of the Sniper Wolf stuff. Because she posted the Jax Films house on Instagram. Yeah, I think it was Instagram, right? He was asking her to get banned on YouTube because they have TOS like that. It's kind of like that. Still mad that Sniper Wolf wasn't even punished. Oh, she was punished, right? She got a suspension or whatever it was, where she wasn't able to make money. And you know, she posted on her second channel, which then is supposed to be like immediate termination, right? Because you broke TOS again. She should have lost her channel. Yeah. So like, she definitely should have gotten way more trouble, right? But technically, she still did get punished. But after she posted on the second channel, because she couldn't make money on the first channel anymore, that should have been it. She should have they terminated then straight away. Because you just broke TOS again. Like, you just did, what is it? Ban evasion? But you know, every platform has its favorites.
To do to stomp that fish. Please, just get me my account back. It was my livelihood and they just took it away.
This clip actually can't be found on TikTok anymore, although we can't exactly be sure why that is. If I were a betting man, then I'd bet my money on it being pretty poorly received, given he sounds less apologetic and more whiny than anything. Meanwhile...
Yeah, but two things I want to say. One, why is his glasses always like that? Does he not know how to put his glasses on properly? Is his nose weird? Why is it crooked like that all the time? And then, two, like, livelihood. Can people make money on TikTok? Like, good money? I feel like they can't, right? I feel like you can make money, but it's not good money. Or YouTube favors such female, Sniper Wolf, Pokey, etc. Yeah, it's kind of stupid. Bro, I watched like a clip of Pokemon recently. And she was like, I don't know why this happens. And I'm like sitting there thinking, bitch, you're like you're a big like streamer / YouTuber, whatever you want to call it. Whatever the fuck she is. You know exactly why that happens. If anybody would know why that happens, it's people like her who are big. I can't remember what the clip was, but I think it had something to do with like money or something. Was it money? I think. I can't remember. But like the people who would know is people like her. So her sitting there going like, I don't know why this happens. It's like you some of the only people that would know. So shut the fuck up. She constantly tries to like what would you call it? What's the word for it? What am I thinking of? Like put herself in like other people's shoes. I guess that's one way of saying it, but I don't think that's the correct way of saying it. Virtue signaling? Maybe. Like she tries to make herself relatable. Right? She tries to like be relatable with like the common people, right? It's like when Hassan is like just carrying on about how millionaires need to pay more taxes and all this crap. Like he isn't a millionaire, right? Like he's one of the poor people. It's like that. That's what I was trying to say. She's like that. So her saying they're like, I don't know why they do this is like she's trying to like make out that she's like everyone else when she's not. And it's so annoying. Like just like Asmongold doesn't hide the fact that he's a millionaire, right? And I think that's why people like him, because he's not like pretending that he's not a millionaire and he's not well off. He just lives like a fucking goblin. If the sim pandemic someday vanishes, such people will go broke. Well, she's aged out of it at this point, right? I don't know about Sniper Wolf, but Pokey has. I think she's aged out of it and people don't care as much. I think she is losing money. Sims ones vanish so the world can heal. But I also think that OnlyFans too has like contributed to female streamers losing money. Like, well, not all female streamers, but female streamers like Pokemon that rely on just being pretty and saying dumb shit that's unrelatable. Bansley and such, yeah. Because people are like, why would I spend my money or give my money to Pokemon when I could just give it to this other girl and see her titties? And then also like her personality, right? If you, from everything that I've seen of Pokemon, bro, she would be a nightmare to date. Like an absolute nightmare. She just seems like a horrible person to date. Like she would drive you insane. Like, am I wrong? So like if that's your type, and that's why they're like giving her money, because they're like, oh, I dream of dating her, then there's something wrong with you. You need your brain checked. No, I'm not wrong. Okay, good. Bro, she seems horrible. I also think it's like really weird to watch a streamer and daydream about dating them. It's like it's never gonna happen. It's like what, a 1 in a million chance? Especially if like I don't know if I'd call him a friend, but someone I know watches like, what the fuck is her name? I follow her. Saroi? Is that her name? I think that's her name. I think she's like French Canadian or something, or she's French. She's one of them, but she doesn't live here. And he's talked about like, oh, what he would do if he met her, and like he thinks that they would get along and he'd have a chance at dating her, right? And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? This is insane. Like he lives in Australia, right? For one. So like, unless she plans to come over here, or you plan to go there, like you're never gonna meet her for fucking starters. And then even if you do, like, it's like people think that if they meet their streamer and they're like, I watch your stuff, I'm a fan, that they're gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, and treat you like a normal person. They're gonna treat you like a fan. Because that's what you are. You know what I mean? Like, the only time where they actually treat you like another, like, human being is if you met, like, naturally. And you didn't start the conversation off with, I'm a fan. Am I the only one that thinks it's weird that people want to like date their Roshis? Like I like a bunch of VTubers, right? My favorite one is Takanashi Kiara, right? Never once have I thought about how it would be to date her, right? Because it's just weird. So when I hear other people talk about like streamers they like and talk about what it would be like to date them. To me, I'm like, I don't get it. That's so strange. And the only way I think, so I think it's weird, right? On every level, it's weird. But the only way I can think of to like explain it to them about how it's not going to ever happen is logically, right? So to be like, they live in a different country. They're always really busy with streaming, like that sort of stuff. So like this air quotes friend, we're acquaintances, I guess. I just sat there and I was like, it just went over everything on the reasons on why it's never gonna happen, right? Instead of being like, bro, it's weird. Because I don't think if you just tell someone like that it is weird to want to date the streamer they watch, they're not gonna get it, right? Does that make sense? Talking about LGBTQ++, what does plus plus mean? It's not allowed in chat. Oh, I don't care. Talk about whatever you want. I don't give a shit. YouTube might, but I don't care. I feel like I don't have any right to say, hey, we're not allowed to talk about this stuff. When I'm like sitting here talking about like, YouTube removed the comment. Oh, did it? Oh, okay. Well, that's what I mean. Like, I don't care. YouTube might. But I couldn't give a shit. Because, like, I'm sitting here talking about, like, you know, fucking having sex with zombies and stuff. Like, people dating VTubers. Like, I don't feel like I really have any ground to say, like, hey, don't talk about this. The only thing I don't want to talk about is, like, people trying to sell me things. That's the only thing I care about. That I don't really want to fucking talk about. Other than that, I like talk about whatever. So that part of this community needs professional help mentally. Oh yeah, for sure. Like the people who are triggered and cry and moan about being misgendered. Oh, yeah, like I call everyone dude. I call my niece dude. Like, I couldn't care less about genders. Like, who cares? Not mate or cunt. I don't really say the see you next Tuesday word unless I'm like something really makes me mad. That's when I'll say it. But my brother uses it like the way I use fuck. He uses that word. So I feel like you've probably noticed by now that I say fuck a lot. Like, everything. So, what is in your pants? Determination. But I do say mate a lot. But I say dude mostly. Call people dude. But yeah, the see you next Tuesday word, I don't know. Never really liked it. My brother loves it. So yeah, if any of you guys had hopes of dating me, then you're a fucking insane. Never happening. Because I think it's fucking weird.
While on YouTube, this situation wasn't exactly covered extensively, but I did find one pretty interesting
That
development.
guy's named
The
Curly
most
Daddy?
popular video available about the subject was made by a fairly large TikToker by the name of Curly Daddy 101. He would release a video discussing the topic on a small YouTube channel, which includes the now deleted apology. In it, CD claims to be a friend of Joshua's, although he doesn't go into any real specifics
CD?
regarding this. He tells us that he'd been
Curly
talking
Daddy.
to Josh about his fears of getting banned because of getting repeated violations for supposedly unknown reasons.
Bro, I can't stop burping. To be honest, how often does the phrase? What? Oh, is you saying phrase? You sneaky little sausage get used in Australia? I I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that. To be honest, I think the most common thing that I hear is bugger. Bugger gets used a lot. I use it a lot too. Not as much though, but the Brits use it quite often. So you sneaky little sausage. I've heard you silly little sausage. I've heard that. Not you sneaky little sausage. I've heard you silly little sausage. I've heard someone say that. But yeah, bugger gets used a lot. Like, bugger. Or if someone's annoying you, bugger off. Or if you don't want to do something, bugger that. Bugger that. That gets used a lot. My mother uses it quite a bit. I'd say bugger is the most thing I hear. That and fuck. I hear fuck a lot too. But fuck's just a great word. Who doesn't like the word fuck?
CD even claims to have contacted TikTok regarding this to try and put Josh's mind at ease. Largely, the video's purpose is to publicly show support for Josh, as he argues the reason he was banned was entirely unjust, given the fish stomping incident was never uploaded on the World of T-Shirts account, meaning TikTok never
See,
should
that just proved what I said. He looked directly at the camera. Oh, I'm being touched. He looked directly at the camera, so he knew he was being recorded. So him saying that he didn't know he was being recorded, think fuck is always good. You'll thank fuck that. Get fucked. Fuck. I use fuck for fucking pretty much everything.
taken any action against him. CD also gives an emphatic defense of Joshua's character, arguing he was clearly not all there, while gleefully stomping on the bluegill. He concludes with a lengthy diatribe, lamenting how TikTok had become a completely anti-free speech platform, where people are not allowed to express themselves in any way that's deemed even slightly offensive to the blue-haired mob. He also gives a dire warning to TikTok that if they don't loosen up on their policies, people will eventually abandon the platform. As much as I wish that was true, nobody actually cares about censorship. Unfortunately, people are just going to keep using it. The video received a fairly warm reception, with most of the people in the comments coming out in support of it, as well as in support of Joshua himself. From this point on, the timeline gets a little bit confusing, not least of all because there doesn't seem to be much archived info on the subject. From what I could gather, Josh would get his account back sometime around August, at which point things went back to normal. The second channel would upload a random promo for his website, as well as a short update about how he would no longer accept any photo or video taking requests after 5 p.m. But as we get to the end of August, the fish drama flares up once again, as a TikTok of him walking gets a community guideline strike, which he attributes to a mass flagging attempt by his haters. The response was pretty mixed. While some people in the comments seemed to support him, a lot of others still held a big grudge against him for the bluegill thing. With
some words you maybe shouldn't use, right, in conjunction with the word fuck, because I've done it before, right, on stream. Like when people, what was the game? I don't remember what game it was, but someone was like, said something about kids. I was like, fuck those kids. The fucking kids shouldn't be in the same sentence. There's certain words you maybe shouldn't put with the word fuck. Hey, you know what I realized? Right? And I said this to my dad, and he called me an idiot. But he still laughed because he thought it was kind of funny. Do you realize that, like, everyone over these fucking kids? Pretty much. You know what I mean? You can't really put, like, certain words with the word fuck. It doesn't work. But I realized the other day, right? My father's father, right? My grandfather, died when I was 2. I think I was 2. Right? So he's been dead for a long time. But my nan died in 2021? 2022? 21 or 22, around there, right? And it just occurred to me recently, right, that My dad is now an orphan. Both his parents are dead, right? So he's an orphan. And it made me realize that at some point in everyone's life, they are an orphan, right? Unless they die before their parents. But if your parents both die before you, you become an orphan. Isn't that a funny thing to think about? My dad is in his 50s, nearly 60s, and he's now officially become an orphan. Weird thing to think about, but I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
Some going as far as to encourage him being harassed as a way of justice. As he continued posting these pleas for help, it seems more and more people turned against him, as the comment section of the later videos are completely swamped with people who outright hate the guy. This video in particular has a few comments calling him out for only responding to some random dude who asked if he could still donate. After posting another TikTok where he advertises merchandise, he would post a quasi-conclusion to the whole saga, albeit a very, very vague one. Displayed is a screenshot taken from some sort of legal chat room, where Josh is being advised on how he could potentially sue TikTok for discrimination on the basis of his condition. It's hard to say when exactly, but at some point after this video was released, the World of T-Shirts channel...
What did I miss? Did he just say that he could sue TikTok because of his autism? Is that what just happened? That they're discriminating against him because he's autistic? Is that what just happened? Then adopt your father and become your own grandfather? Might have destroyed the time stream? I would never do that. Because I wouldn't want to have to look after him. I'd be responsible for him then. It's too much work. It'd take too much effort to raise that child. Is that what just happened, Benny? He's like trying to sue them because of his autism? He's saying like because he's autistic, he could sue them. If you fuck up, you would be responsible, but due to him being your bio dad, he is responsible for you. Well, not really. He hasn't really fucking been responsible for me since I've turned like fucking, I don't even know, 14, 15? Tonal loop. I'm more of an adult than he is, which is like a strange thing to say. I've been more of an adult than him since I was like 17. Oh, bro. Oh. I had my legs crossed this entire time, and I just realized maybe I should not, like, I should stretch my legs. Oh. Oh, it feels so weird. Why do I keep getting messages? Leave me alone. I don't want to respond to you. Leave me be. Is that what happened, Benny? Like, he's like saying he could sue them for discrimination because he's autistic? Would that even work? Can you not touch me, please? I don't want you. I probably shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. That would be bad. I realized right in the middle of that I probably shouldn't say that. That would sound really bad. Sometimes I catch myself. Other times I just say the dumb thing. Then I sound bad. Oh.
was actually reinstated. There's no way to tell if these two things are connected, but it's honestly more likely that
would have sounded
after
really
his appeal
racist.
succeeded, there simply wasn't anyone else who cared enough to flag his content again, or these systems finally kicked in and realized that he wasn't really doing anything bad on TikTok. That, or maybe, if you want to be conspiratorial, his implied legal threat actually worked, but to be honest, I doubt that TikTok is afraid of Joshua Block. Either way, he went back to doing what he knew best, recording himself walking through New York while being obnoxious. Following his success in getting his main account back, Josh would partner up with a small YouTube channel called Apex Primary to create a documentary about him, in which we found out some very interesting information. This
does he have a
mini-doc
YouTube
covers
channel?
quite a breadth of topics, most of which I don't really care about, from discussing how autism can affect children's development and
I thought that was common, but anyway, thought everybody knew that. So, does he have a YouTube channel, or is he just on TikTok? Because I feel like whenever we hear about him on YouTube, it's through somebody else's YouTube channel. Right? It seems like maybe he doesn't have one.
and their ability to socialize, to interviews with Josh's teachers in high school who sang praises of the young man. There are a few interesting tidbits here, though. Firstly, we get a full confirmation that Josh himself is on the spectrum, and that he had gone through a restrictive curriculum throughout his early years. Not that we couldn't really tell he was on the spectrum, but now it's officially confirmed. We also learn the identity—
Bro, these things, I love them. I love the poppy noise they make. My niece has one. I kind of want it. I love the poppy noise.
Of the mysterious figure looming from the April interview. Apparently, it's actually Joshua's grandfather, who goes by the name of Vincent Lisa. Amid all of the bloviating comments about how successful Josh has been, we also find out that he's actually been an entrepreneur of sorts ever since the 10th grade, when he officially created 2 different online storefronts, including the World of T-Shirts and All Things Luxury. These were both created via a website called cafepress.com, which is basically like a super simple e-shop that allows you to create your own storefronts to sell your merch. To answer the question I'm sure you all have, yes, he named his TikTok account after a virtual storefront, which he actually confirms for us when he tells us he had reused the name for his TikTok account in order to further promote his t-shirt selling business. There aren't really any archives of the—
Wait. So, the name of his TikTok account was what, like a randomly generated name that this website came up with? And he just continued to use it on TikTok? Is that what that's saying? That he made a website to sell t-shirts and they randomly generated that name. So he was like, that's good enough, and decided to use it everywhere else. I don't know how I feel about that.
these websites, so we can't be sure what these shops used to sell. What we can be sure of, though, is that nowadays they both seem like an extension of his own personalized merch store on the World of T-Shirts website, selling such worthwhile items as World of T-Shirts Portrait Design Baby Football Bodies and World of T-Shirts Portrait Design Women's Boy Briefs, as well as, and I kid you not, tens of thousands of other items. I don't even know where all these came from. When you actually scroll through these items, you'll realize most of them are pretty much the same, with the exact same designs being put on multiple different kinds of items, and the same kinds of items being sold with only mildly differing designs. It does make you wonder what the actual business model of these websites even is, given that 95% of these products probably haven't been sold even once. Interestingly, Joshua has deemed these 2 e-shops enough of a success that he lists them on his personal LinkedIn profile, where he names himself the CEO of the 2 respective stores since March 2017. Notably, he also mentions how he's been the CEO of something called Joshua's ATT Corp. This company is actually listed on the Real Yellow Pages website, where it's described as a tech support service. It also links to what seems to be the actual website of the company, which says pretty much the same thing. Now, Joshua has been listed as CEO of the company since early 2014, when he would have been only 12 years old. Given that you can't even get a work permit until you're 15, it should probably go without saying that the listing is not accurate, to put it mildly, and it's more likely the website was run by his family, possibly his grandfather. This also puts into question how much time he actually puts into managing these storefronts. Add that to the fact he spends most of his days wandering about New York, and it's more likely he only has his name attached to the shops for feel-good points, or perhaps perhaps advertising, but there's no way he's actually running them. As the documentary goes on, we also find out a little bit more about his personal life. Among other
He's probably also not making money off them, because didn't he say his main source of income was TikTok? So those stores probably don't even make him money. Which makes sense, because they look like dog shit, but... like... I'm still confused on how he's making money on TikTok, though. Because from everything I've heard, TikTok is not good for revenue.
things, we find out his mother, who was a sole guardian growing up, passed away due to ovarian cancer in 2015, when Josh was either 13 or 14 years old. Josh's father had attempted to take care of him, but due to his inability to do so, his grandfather opted to get full legal custody. The video ends on a positive note, with a rather hopeful outlook on what the future has in store for Joshua. The documentarians seem to feel he was just a silly guy who wanted to enjoy life and have fun on TikTok. For the time being, Josh was doing very well. While he was nowhere near the peak he had once occupied, he was still doing fairly solid numbers.
So he looks kind of cute there with like longish hair.
By his fish stomping, the audience he had seemed to be unaware of this or just didn't care. As 2021 lingered on, Josh got more attention from the mainstream media, with various online publications releasing articles about him. The attention was all pretty positive, focusing on the fact that he's found so much success online despite the fact that he's autistic. After that, there wasn't really much to report on for a while, because Josh was pretty drama-free throughout 2022, doing pretty much the same exact kind of content you would expect him to make, walking around New York, recording song covers or parodies or lip syncs, and just having a fun time. Unfortunately, things began to change drastically when Josh turned 21. While prior to this,
he just licked the floor of a fucking subway train thing? What are they called? Carts? Subway cart? Subway train? What are they called? We don't have them here. We have normal trains. That's disgusting. He's in New York, right? From everything I've heard from other people who've been there. Train carts? Okay. Isn't New York supposed to be like the most disgusting place in America? Like I had spoke to a couple people who've been there, and they were like, they said their first day there, they thought it was going to be incredible, and they walk down the street and there's a rat the size of a fucking dog, like taking away like food they've just grabbed off the street. Like apparently there's rubbish everywhere and the street's just disgusting. So imagine how bad those floors of that fucking train cart is. If that's what the street looks like. Bro, how do you not catch some sort of fucking disease?
He had never been known to abuse substances in any way. It's at this point that a new side of him began to emerge, and World of T-shirts portrait design women's boy briefs. And have fun on TikTok. For the time as a person, but quickly turned into a stand despite the fact that he's autistic or parodies or...
Okay, there we go. Is this where his drinking starts? I just remember that, like, he becomes an alcoholic. I forgot about that part. Bro, they're all wearing masks. Seems like it was around the COVID time too. Bro, that's so gross.
Lip syncs, and just having a fun time. Unfortunately, things began to change drastically when Josh turned 21. While prior to this, he had never been known to abuse substances in any way, it's at this point that a new side of him began to emerge. Josh started to drink copious amounts of alcohol. It started off as a somewhat worrying aside to him as a person, but quickly turned into a centerfold of his entire brand. Eventually, people began tuning in for no other reason than to see the kind of shenanigans Josh will get up to while hammered. Conversely, this led to Josh creating even more content in order to sate his fans' newfound desire to see him drunk, as he began to release dozens of videos where he was drinking himself silly or already very drunk and acting crazy. He would do the same on streams, where we got to see more of his raw, unfiltered self. This is all despite the fact that, at least in the beginning, he clearly wasn't very good at handling alcohol, probably because he never even had a sip of it prior to turning 21.
What the hell is happening to me? I think I'm gonna be sick. Oh.
This stream archive in particular is quite noteworthy. Besides displaying just how inexperienced Joshua was at this point with drinking, it includes at least one interesting tidbit.
I'm sorry for everything bad I did. I'm sorry.
Why do people enjoy watching other people, like, suffer? Is that a good way of saying it? Like I find it funny if someone falls over, right? That's funny, right? But like watching a live stream where someone's drinking themselves to the point where like they're throwing up or passing out, I don't get it. For some, it's a fetish. It's a fetish? What would it be called? What's the name of this fetish? Because, like, fetishes have a name, right? Like, I think maybe I'm also, like, I don't know. I find this disgusting, right? I don't like this part. He's drinking himself stupid and people are encouraging it. But I think also reason why I don't like it, probably more than you guys, is because I've had to watch my father do this for the past 20 years. So maybe that's why I don't like this more than normal people. Like, this dude's in New York too, like, getting drunk. People are watching him. Someone could easily come up and rob him. Because they would know where he is, because he's live streaming it. And then, fuck you, stupid zigzagoon bitch. And then on top of that, like, walking around in the street and drinking like this is just, I just think is even worse, because what happens if he falls over? He could get seriously hurt. No one, and that's the thing though, right? I think that's, no one thinks about these things. They just think about the immediate funny thing that's happening. They don't stop and think about, like, what happens if he falls over and hurts himself? Or what happens if he does drink himself to the point where he passes out from alcohol poisoning? Like, they're just like, haha, he's drunk, funny. And that's the end of their thought. And it's annoying. I don't like... Do I just overthink things? Or, like... I do this with everything. Every time I'm going to do something or just anything like this, I always think about what could happen before I do anything, pretty much. And then I don't end up doing things, or if I do things, I make sure I'm safe about it. Am I the weird one that just overthinks things? Maybe.
Sorry. Please, if I die, don't send me to hell.
I don't think the chat has a say in that.
Sorry. I'm so sorry for stomping on that fish. I'm so sorry. I promise I'll never do anything like that.
This may actually be the first time he'd ever given a genuine apology for the whole fish incident. While he's obviously inebriated, it does make one wonder how he actually feels about it, or if he actually does understand how what he had done was wrong. Or perhaps it's just a drunk person drunkenly rambling. This new habit of his would only become more uncontrollable as time went on, with every subsequent stream becoming more and more unhinged. One good example is present in this clip, where he's being aggressively encouraged to consume more drinks while in a club bathroom.
I was gonna say,
pees
yeah,
on
he's in the
stream
bathroom,
without
right?
even a hint of shame. However, things did not truly hit a fever pitch until Josh made a brand new friend, Michael
I thought he was
Quinn.
gonna take a piss.
To give you a little introduction to Michael Quinn, he's a man somewhere between 40 to 60 years old, whose greatest genuine claim to fame is inheriting a company.
Wait. What? He's 40 to 60 years old. That's a big range, Tom. You couldn't narrow it down any more than that. There's a 20-year gap. 40 to 60 years old. What are you talking about? So I'm assuming this douchebag is going to make him drink even more, right? He's not going to help him or like give him a safe environment to drink and do this stuff. It's gonna be the opposite, right?
By the name of Feltman's Hot Dogs, which, as the name suggests, is famous for selling hot dogs. In fact, the company was so famous that it would eventually land him a TV interview on NBC. He's also a bit of a TikToker in his own right, although to call him that in earnest would be to give TikTokers a bad name. If you think that's somehow possible, with a grand total of 720 followers, and a few more across his other social media accounts. He truly was a nobody prior to meeting Josh, at least in terms of having a following. But they met at some point in late 2022, at which point he and Michael would start to make content together. Some of the early videos seemed innocent enough, including featuring on a YouTube channel called Flavors of New York. However, things quickly devolved, and while there would be some scattered collabs like this, their focus quickly changed to where the real money was. At some point, Josh would hire Michael as his personal manager, wherein he would take a percentage of Josh's personal revenue in exchange for, as far as I can tell, pretty much doing nothing, other than following Josh around and encouraging him to drink more. Michael would quickly begin appearing in Josh's videos, perhaps being even more of a nuisance than Josh himself. He would regularly enable every bad behavior Josh engaged in, egging him on to get as many views as possible, no matter the cost to his well-being or dignity. It wasn't long before Michael was absolutely reviled in the World of T-Shirts community. While people on TikTok would always welcome an opportunity to make Joshua do even more dumb things, the World of T-Shirts subreddit was not nearly so polite towards him, and over the next few months, he would get absolutely railed by both Reddit and...
Does this have a sad ending? Like, is he actually gonna, like, die from drinking too much? That's not where this is going, right? Keep watching. Oh, that doesn't bode well.
And YouTube, with most of the criticism centering around the fact that he's basically just a clout leech, trying to siphon as much fame out of Josh as he possibly can. Naturally, Mike would go out of his way to defend himself from these haters, and he did so in the best way he knew how. Poorly. He would make a number of videos on his personal TikTok account, most of which are deleted today, where he would basically make the argument that he's actually helping Josh and others whom he works with. He would also regularly make the argument that he's actually trying to moderate just how much Josh drinks, with Josh himself drunkenly telling us that he only vomits when he's drinking alone. Of course, not a whole lot of people really took that defense very seriously.
What?
Pretty much the entire following that he would get from Josh were people who hated his guts, occupying the comment sections of his TikToks. But the hate campaign didn't stop there. Entire channels would pop up whose sole purpose was to document him and his behavior. In particular, a TikTok channel called Quinning2 would start re-uploading TikToks from Michael's personal account, as well as dozens of clips from the TikTok lives, capturing the craziest moments. This account would not be the only one to accuse Michael of being an out-and-out gooner. A post on the World of T-Shirts subreddit would make the same argument, highlighting an interaction from a live stream between Michael and Joshua, which sadly hadn't been archived. The post recounts how Michael was clearly trying to make Josh drink as much as possible by drinking alongside him, goading him into doing shots, in between telling Josh to defend him from the haters. The post also mentions how, for an upcoming trip to Paris, if it was okay for Michael to pay for everything and then give Joshua some extra allowance, which the commenter called sugar daddy behavior. The internet would throw a lot more accusations at Michael Quinn. On the Daniel Larson wiki, Michael has an entire article dedicated to...
Wait, what? On the Daniel Larson wiki? Wait, did this guy do stuff to Daniel Larson too? Is this guy doing sexual things to Josh? Is that what I'm getting from this? He's doing like sugar daddy stuff? Hey, Queasy's here. We found a rare encounter. How am I doing? I'm doing right. How are you doing? Good? Bad? Creamy? Crunchy? We're talking about Josh Block. This guy didn't do like sexual things to him, right? Because they're talking about like how he's like his sugar daddy and stuff. I'm doing good, playing a lot of Warframes. I have never played them. I've been playing a bunch of random shit. Been kind of all over the place with the stuff I've been playing.
him,
I hope
where
he
he's
didn't.
accused of being a substance abuser who's addicted
Do
to either
things to this
benzos
guy.
or coke. Claims like these are mostly based on a number of, let's just say, very
He's
memorable
clearly taking
appearances.
advantage of
On
him,
multiple occasions, he would go on TikTok live and look absolutely off his rocker. One of these, helpfully enshrined on Reddit, sees Michael talking to someone of very vaguely Mediterranean descent. While we don't know the
My
full
friend is
context
fun.
of this clip,
I
what it
recommend
shows
you
is
try it
very
out.
telling, as
Maybe.
Michael lays into them with some very harsh
Maybe
words,
one day.
including the repeated use of the N-word with the hard R, all while looking completely stoned or hammered out of his mind.
I have a lot of
Is
games
Michael
I'm playing
Quinn
now at the
actually
moment.
base? This video, as well as others,
I
quickly
wanna
led
get back
to
into
even
the,
more backlash, and it made the Reddit detectives go
Walking
into
Dead
overdrive
stuff,
trying to
though.
figure out what kind of drugs he's on. One commenter noted it's most likely benzos mixed with alcohol. I'm not a
Free?
medical expert. Try to
Ah.
take these comments with a pinch of salt. This is Reddit after all, but it's
Maybe.
possible, I guess. Regardless of the veracity of these claims, what matters here is that the backlash against
have
Michael
too many
simply
games, though.
kept growing.
Too many games
And as
to
time
play.
went on, more and more things about him would come to the limelight. People found all kinds of interesting factoids when they began to dig into his personal history, where they found that he actually used to be a substitute teacher.
Michael Quinn getting bullied as substitute teacher.
Okay? This is not gonna go on anymore. Enough. Okay, if the learner has.
Eventually, this backlash entered the YouTube sphere, where it extended from just
What's
mocking
happening?
Michael and actually was redirected to even further attention getting on Josh. A number of videos came out discussing Josh's obvious drinking problem, mostly by small YouTubers, as there was never exactly a mainstream drive behind any of these. Still, you had small creators like Zayd Gets Laid making comprehensive critiques of the guy, sharing Joshua's rapid descent into degeneracy. This is where CD re-enters the picture. He would initially
CD.
post a video on his TikTok channel
Curly
where he
Daddy.
criticized Michael for enabling Joshua's alcohol habit, making
he
the
gonna
point
help?
that he clearly had the resources to
Is this the
genuinely
hero
help
we
him,
need?
but that he simply didn't care to do so.
I've been reluctant to make this video, but I'm going to.
Oh, he's
I was
curly.
on this guy Michael Quinn's live stream last night when he was drinking with World of T-Shirts on a Monday. I have to say, I do take an issue with
Hey.
you paying for World of T-Shirts as drinks when he's obviously a struggle.
Hey, people could drink on a Monday. And I'm not saying that because I drunk on Monday, but people can drink on a Monday. Calm down. He doesn't work a normal job. He should be allowed to drink whatever he wants. I may or may not have had a drink on Monday. How dare he? And by the way, that guy buying his drinks doesn't matter because he's on the guy's payroll. So I'm assuming he would just take it out of his fucking cut, right? To say they make like $1,000 and in the entire, like, they make $1,000 that day off of TikTok or whatever, and he spent $200 on drinks for him that day. He's gonna take the fucking $200 and then whatever he's owed, right? So they go 50-50, they take $500 each. He's gonna take $700 and he gets $300. That's what he's gonna do. He's not gonna fucking, like, he's not buying him drinks because he's nice.
Alcoholic. This guy says he wants to
He
help
knows what he's
Josh,
doing.
yet publicly contributes to his downward spiral into alcoholism.
You
Okay,
tell
so
him,
you
Curly
pay
Daddy.
for his phone bill. Great. Do you want a cookie? The fact is, you've probably done irreversible damage to Joshua's life. You have the ability and resources to probably get Josh some help, but I do not think you care or want to. I firmly believe that if Josh had friends his own age that were good influences on him, that he would be alright.
While it was a fairly harmless video compared to the other accusations, it seems this one got a lot more
maybe.
attention, as Michael
Maybe not.
himself took notice of it. In a now deleted TikTok, he said CD was dead to Joshua, hinting at their former friendship. At the same time, another large TikToker called Ryan the Lion, who also happens to be within Michael's cadre of friends, would reply to it, effectively dismissing the accusations. This, along with some other comments, led CD to release a much more in-depth video on his YouTube channel. In
here we
this
go.
scathing critique, he admits that he
Get
wasn't
him.
really acquainted with Josh at this
Get him,
point.
Curly Daddy.
Still, he goes on to defend him, arguing that his alcoholism is entirely Michael's fault. He also highlights some statements made by him where he defends what he does by saying it's all for the good of the creators he works with.
I wouldn't say his alcoholism is Michael's fault. I would say it's his situation's fault, right? Because he was drinking a lot before Michael came, and it was because of TikTok. And because people were watching him and paying him money to do that. So even if Michael didn't come along, I still think he would have had an alcohol problem. So I don't think it's solely Michael's fault, right? Do you guys agree with me with that? I feel like he didn't help. He definitely made it worse. But I think he still would have had an issue with it, with or without him. What's that noise? Oh, us just snoring. Bro, what is wrong with him today? Bro, he's been out of it all morning. Like he was on the lounge next to me before, and he was just out. And now he's out of it again. He's snoring. I can't get the microphone close to him, otherwise I would. You guys can't hear it. It sounds like fucking. I don't know how to explain it. It's very weird noise that's coming out of my dog right now.
He accused him of being the reason Josh had stopped talking to CD in the first place, claiming Michael to be a manipulator who was separating Josh from all of his friends to keep his control.
The big thing I have a problem with is a sign of a manipulator is separating someone from their friends, their good influences, whatever. That is what Michael Quinn is doing.
Yeah, it's like the first thing they do.
Making sure that Josh now no longer has any contact with me. He's making sure that Josh is separated from anybody that could potentially take him away from you, Michael. And that is a sign.
He doesn't want conflicting views, right? So he's making sure that he's not talking to anybody that's going to conflict with what Michael's telling him. Which is exactly what you're going to do. You're going to tell him how Michael's bad, Michael's doing this and that he shouldn't be doing, and he doesn't want that. That's what it is. So he'll only allow him to talk to other people who are going to agree with whatever Michael says. And then eventually he'll also get rid of them too. So then that way, the only person he can confide in with anything is Michael. That's how it works.
Of a manipulator.
I'm not a manipulator.
CD goes on to show a clip of Michael saying something very, very inappropriate about Daniel Larson, basically
I just know it
threatening
very
physical
well.
violence against the man for some reason. This really is the fucking Spurg Avengers coming together to just go to war with each other, and this particular drama would eventually develop into something bigger. But for now, we'll keep it at that. While there admittedly isn't much new information in the CD video, it's at least worth noting that CD does genuinely seem to care about Joshua, which most other people frankly don't. At the very least, it seems they had been really good friends prior to Michael breaking them up. As far as I can tell, Michael never replied to this officially, apart from a few snide comments made.
Compared to like Daniel Larson, Josh seems normal. Is that just me? Like the only thing he has really bad about him is the fucking alcohol stuff, right? The rest of him, it just seems like he's just a normal dude. Whereas, like, you see the Daniel Larson stuff, and you're like, bro, this guy's insane. So I can understand why Josh would have friends. Daniel Larson, on the other hand, like, if someone was like, I'm friends with Daniel Larson, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why? If someone told me they were friends with Josh, I'd be like, oh, okay, I get it. Bro, it is hard to figure out how old this guy is. Like, I don't know if he's in his late 40s or if he's in his, like, late 50s. Is he one of those, like, people that's, like, actually old? Like, he's, like, he's, like, 60, but he just looks like he could be in his 40s? Is he one of those dudes?
At CD's expense. Likely, he didn't really want to bring more attention to it, given CD was probably right. Of course, this didn't stop people from continuing to hurl some very fair criticism his way, which only led to him responding more and more negatively. In the end, for all the criticism, Michael never really stopped hanging out with Josh. To this day, he continues to walk around New York with him and even travel the world with him, and all expenses paid trips to Italy, Iceland, and anywhere else you can think of. While he constantly catches more and more negative attention, it doesn't seem he's that fazed by it. Not least of all because he doesn't actually rely on TikTok as a means of getting an income, given his own pre-existing hot dog wealth. As Joshua's manager, Michael would, of course, try to contribute to the management side of things, which he did by diversifying his income streams. Of these, one suggestion would really take root. World of T-Shirts New York Tour. A brainchild of Michael and Josh's collective brain power, it would see the duo do basically the same thing they always do, while also having multiple people tag along.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, isn't that just what he does every day? But now he's like making it sound like it's like an event. What?
with them, pretending to act as tour guides. On a website called Holy Prof Web, it's described as a unique and immersive experience, exactly 5 times. The whole article seems written by AI, fluffing up the whole tour as much as possible while also padding out the word count. But other than this obvious shill review, it also has a whole website dedicated to it, as well as its own section on the World of T-Shirts primary website. The dedicated website itself looks less professional than any WordPress or anything site I've ever seen. In fact, being kind of a shitty website, it doesn't actually say that it's being run by Joshua either, instead being portrayed as a tour inspired by World of T-Shirts, whatever that is supposed to mean.
Yeah,
it captures the essence of World of T-Shirts, the flavor profile. However, despite Josh's no doubt staggering star power, the tour was received pretty poorly.
I was gonna say, yeah, because he's just doing the same shit.
For taking in the activity, and pretty much all of them were done in mockery of Josh and Michael.
There's nothing you can't do. Now you're in New York.
We ended up in Times Square. He danced, ran upstairs 10 times, and left.
Perhaps even more amusing than these clips, however, are the Google Maps reviews of the service. Boasting a grand score of 1.7 stars, he hasn't exactly been showered by praise, and one glance at the reviews should give you an idea why. The first review that pops up claims that Josh had showed up to the starting spot of the tour already completely hammered, and even having pissed his pants prior to showing up, only to call the review's author an unemployed piece of shit when asked if he would get him a complimentary drink. Another review posted by an actual tour guide was equally as scornful, giving a similar recollection of events as the first one, with the addition that he actually threatened to sue some of the people there for no discernible reason. You get pretty much the same story scrolling through the rest of the reviews, with just about every positive review being some sort of troll,
It's the same
or
thing he's
just
been
not
doing,
taking it
though,
very
right?
seriously. Indeed, the tour became so infamous for its shoddiness that it ended up catching some attention on YouTube and TikTok, with creators like LolCow Designs even going through the reviews for content. Oddly, if you look for reviews of it via the Google search engine, you'll probably find this little article on a website called Passion Fruit. This review gives us a very different view of Josh, although perhaps not a very different view of the tour.
What is LolCow Designs? Is this something I should be aware of, Benny? Does it just like go over lolcows? Is it like a thing that tells you about new lolcows? Like, what is it? Never even heard of it till now.
Tour itself. He describes, in short, the process of booking a tour, which involved receiving a waiver via Google Docs, which warned the World of T-Shirts would not be liable if the author were to be bitten by rats during the tour. Not sure why that's so specifically listed. I've personally toured New York, and I've never had any liability waiver list anything about being bitten by rats, but you never know what's going to happen with Josh. They would then set up a meeting, which Josh would show up to half an hour late for, at which point they had a very curt interview, which, as the author writes, had nothing he could actually use in his article. He then describes the tour, which involved them walking across the streets aimlessly, while the author asked Joshua questions about his life, as well as just tried to really talk to him normally one-on-one. Josh would constantly give people side glances, paranoid that any single one of them could be a troll, and he rejected everyone who approached him for a photo. He justifies some of this paranoia with a story he tells the author from when he was in Texas. One day, when he came back to his hotel room, he saw that someone had broken in and defecated on his bed. At one point, Josh would pull out his phone, and as is usual for these tours, he would film a TikTok. After that, they took a metro ride on the train to Williamsburg, until they reached a bar by the name of Union Pool, where everyone was too old to recognize Josh. Then, they walked over to another bar, where the author alleges he bought Joshua a margarita as a thank you, at which point they said their goodbyes, and the autist-in-chief slunk away into the shadows. The article provides an interesting view of Josh, describing him as a very earnest and kind person, highlighting just how much he differs from the idea promulgated by social media. From clips of him behaving like a total nitwit to the thousands of hate videos made about him. Largely, the author seems satisfied, albeit he never spoke
probably
to the
seems like
tour's
a
quality.
if he was your friend, he's probably like a really
reception
nice
the tour
guy.
ever got, and it's only positive because it entirely ignores the fact that there was even a tour in the first place. Despite this, the project is still ongoing, with most of the tours getting a dedicated TikTok in lieu of Joshua's ceaseless hustling, all while being constantly babysat by a man twice his age who is not his father or relative in any way. Speaking of Michael, as I've alluded to earlier, he would get Josh into a rather strange bit of beef with Daniel Larson, another channel favorite here.
They met
While
in
it's hard
person.
to say exactly where it started,
What
it
is
seems
this?
that fans of the two respective creators were really pushing them to have a fight with each other in New York City. This led to the two of them to name drop each other, with Michael even supposedly trying to set up a boxing match.
Is he just me or does Daniel Larson look like a bird? Does he not? He looks like a bird. Dressed as a human. Or disguised as a human, trying to be a human. Is that just me? He looks like a bird. What's that fucking... What am I thinking of? There's like a movie or something where there's like a bird person. What am I thinking of? I'm gonna try and find this. Bird person movie? What am I thinking of right now? Harvey Birdman came up. It's not what I want. Fuck, what is this? What is this? It's like a... How do I explain? Bro, what is this movie I'm thinking of? No, that's not it. Oh my god, it's in my brain and I can't think of... Oh, Paulie! I haven't watched that movie in years. What if I like... Wait. Animorph. Bird. Is it Animorphs? Maybe it's Animorphs? No, it's not. Birdman movie. It's in my brain and I don't remember what movie it is. And I don't even know a good way of explaining it. But he's like, it's like a parrot. He's like, I'm pretty certain he's like colorful. Okay, maybe I need to get rid of Animorphs because Animorphs just keeps coming up. Parrot Man. Fuck, what is this thing I'm thinking of? It's like a colorful parrot man. But it's like a human, but he has like a weird bird face. Like his face is like morphed of like a bird and a man. Oh, that's the Deep Blue Sea cook guy with the bird. Okay, now just a bunch of birds in movies are coming up. The dude with the snake hand? I don't remember a snake hand. No, he's like, I don't remember what movie it is, but it's like a dude dressed as like a parrot. Like clearly it's a man dressed as a parrot, but like he's supposed to just be like a man parrot. Does that make sense? Like if like a parrot was like a human. That's what it's supposed to be. But it's clearly just like a dude in a suit, but they made his face really like strange. It's hard to explain. Look up Xavier, Renegade Angel. Nah, that's not him. Nah, like it's like a live action movie. Like it's a proper like Like, dude, I don't know what movie it's from. But like he has like feathered like wings and stuff where with his arms are supposed to be. But it's his face is the thing that I want to show you guys, because his face is the fucking, it looks exactly like what Daniel Larson looks like right now. Just with like feathers. But now you are cursed with the knowledge. Not Birdman. No, it's not Harvey Birdman. It's not the. I know what movie you're thinking of. It's the Birdman with fucking what's his name? Batman. The best Batman, Michael Keaton. It's not that. I don't think. Wait, hold on. Wait, it could be. Wait, is there a scene where he's like? No, that's him in a suit. No, he's not like that. Like I mean, like he has his arms are like bird wings, right? And he's like colorful, but his face looks like what Daniel Larson's face looks like right now. But imagine like parrot colors, like a colorful parrot. It's like that. I don't remember what movie it is. It's probably some weird obscure movie that I watched years ago. And the other thing too is like the movie isn't about that Birdman thing. It's that Birdman thing. It just pops up for like a minute. He pops up. He says something to the main character, I think, and then he just leaves. Like I think it's like a dream or something. Like the person's having like a weird dream and sees this like Birdman. It's so hard to explain. Animal Kingdom? What's Animal Kingdom? Is it a movie? Bird? Did I just write Birdman at the end of it? Nah, I don't think that's it. Like his face is like fully like covered in like he has a tiny beak where his mouth is, and he has like feathers on his face. Whereas the picture of this guy doesn't look like he has that. And I don't think I've ever watched this movie. This movie does not look familiar, like, at all. But yeah, he has like kind of like a parrot beak. One of those ones like curves downwards. Instead of going out, like curves down. What? Hey, do you know, maybe you know it, the movie with like, it's a guy and he's like a bird and he has like a parrot beak for a mouth and he has feathers all over his like face and stuff and he has feathers for arms. I think he pops up for a minute and talks to the main character for a second. It's like in a dream or something. You don't know that movie? Because I can't think of what the fucking movie's called. A girl born with wings instead of arms flies south with other birds. What's that? Is that a movie? I can't think of this fucking movie, bro. I don't know what it's called. But yeah, he's like, yeah, that's the best way I can explain it. He has like a parrot. Wait, maybe I can parrot. It's a parrot beak, right? Yeah. So if like you look up parrots, right, they have this beak that like curves down. It's like that. He has like that for a mouth. And he has like parrot colors. For some reason I vividly remember yellow. Like him having yellow on him. Like yellow feathers. The name is Eep. Like the fuck is the movie? Eep? Okay, maybe I have to try a movie. Because like, is it in 2010? Oh, yeah. I saw, yeah, that little girl came up when I was looking it up too, yeah. I was like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, that was nightmare fuel. That little girl. Yeah, like the picture of her is like a baby came up. And I was like, what? Okay. Very strange. But yeah, I'm pretty certain it's a man. The clip I'm thinking of is a man. But yeah, I think it's like a dream or like a hallucination or something. And I think it's a comedy movie. Maybe, or if it's not a comedy movie, it's one of those like weird movies. Like there's a strange movie called Kaboom. I think I've mentioned it before on stream, but Kaboom is a very strange movie. You watch it and you're like, what is this movie even about? Like it's one of those like movies that's like just confusing from start to finish. So either that movie is like that, the one I'm thinking of with the Birdman in it. It's either like a really confusing movie that makes no sense from start to finish, or it's a comedy movie and there's just a random scene like that. But that image is burned in my brain, that Birdman image. I just can't think of what movie it's from. I'll talk to my friend because I think I watched it with him. He might know what it is. If I figure out what it is, I'll definitely let you guys know. But Daniel Larson in this picture right here, this pause frame, looks exactly like the bird thing I'm talking about. Good day, Benny. How's it going? Wait, maybe I should call you Umbreon since Benny is here. Give me a like, thanks. I can't see my likes at the moment, so I don't know where we're at. But yeah, this image of Daniel Larson right now is like exactly what it looks like. Just imagine like bird feathers being on his face. And that's what it looks like. The only reason why I brought it up was because it reminded me of it instantly.
A lot of this drama is pretty much entirely contained to Michael's account, which has since been nuked. This complicates the process of tracking down how exactly it developed. What we do know is that at some point, Michael claimed that Daniel Larson had found his home address, even though there didn't seem to be much proof. This led to him releasing a video talking about how he would have to hire bodyguards for Josh to protect him from Daniel Larson.
Alright, so get this. I'm hiring a security detail even larger than the one that Donald Trump has to defend World of T-shirts from Daniel Larson.
Conversely, Daniel would respond to what he deemed as...
Does Trump have a large bodyguard group? What? But he's the president, or the former president at this time, right? Or was he the president? So, like, Trump didn't hire them. They would have just... I'm confused.
Threats from Michael by making a legal threat.
This message is for Michael Quinn. If you do not stop with the threats, then I will be forced to press charges and file a cease and desist.
This all came to a head with Michael trying to set up a meeting between Josh and Daniel, where the latter...
Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the cease and desist come first before filing charges? A model advertisement what has a bird-faced man? Oh, okay. Let's have a look. I don't like Trump. Never voted for him. I've never voted for him either. But my reason's probably different to yours. I don't live in America. Look in Discord. Oh, you linked it? Okay, cool. Nah, that's not it. His face is more human. Right? The face of this Birdman is more human than it is bird. Like it, you can tell it's like it literally. It just looks like a human who they've put feathers on their face and then just given, like, put one of those bird beaks on him, like a parrot beak, where his mouth and nose should be. But he just has like feathers all over his face, and it's like I think I'm not 100% certain, but I think the feathers are like yellow because he's like a parrot man. He's like, I think he's yellow and green. But yeah, his face pretty much just looks like a human's face covered in like feathers. Have you like dedicated yourself now to trying to figure out what this is, Benny? It might even be in Kaboom. Ow. What is this? What is that? Like an old Birdman? Is that from a comic? What is that? Okay, hold on. I'll look up Kaboom. Kaboom is such a strange movie. Kaboom movie. Juno Temple gets her tits out in that movie though. Because like there's a lot of drugs that happen in that movie, so it could actually be this movie when the guy's just doing drugs or whatever, and he's just having a trip. Kaboom. Birdman. Nah, it didn't come up. Yeah, maybe it's not that movie. Maybe if I take away man and just type bird. Nah, it didn't come up. Okay, maybe it's not Kaboom. I don't know. Beak from X-Men. That guy's from X-Men? Okay, fair enough.
Hatter would have to travel to New York City all the way from California.
So after 2 hours of negotiations, we came to an agreement that Josh wants to meet Daniel Larson. It's going to happen. But the stipulations. A couple of stipulations.
Yeah.
You know, first of all, I have to be there. It has to be a place they won't be doxxed.
Yes.
And we want to make sure that Netflix covers it.
Apparently, this little deal was preceded by Michael and Daniel meeting randomly on the street while they were both out, and they ended up chatting each other up before Daniel started to live stream with Mike.
I'm going to get the Nobel Peace Prize because I'm going to introduce him to World of T-Shirts, and the whole world is going to be beautiful.
The impression gathered by most was that Michael was basically trying to stir trouble between the two for no other reason than to farm clout. This is certainly a prevailing belief on the World of T-Shirts subreddit, where, as we've already discussed, people hate Michael's guts. Not that I really blame them. Nonetheless, this wouldn't stop the meeting from actually happening, and later in May, Daniel flew out to New York, where he finally met the dastardly duo in real life. Their whole meeting would be streamed on Michael's TikTok, which thankfully was archived. For the entirety of the meeting, they're sitting in a diner, eating food while Michael and Joshua record at the same time. For the most part, Daniel Larson and Joshua Block don't really seem that interested in actually talking to each other, seemingly only doing so out of politeness. It's pretty awkward to listen to. Meanwhile, Michael's the one largely driving the conversation, trying to get them to interact.
Starbucks has food? What? Has Starbucks always had food? I thought they were just like a coffee thing. I'm inside the rabbit hole. Oh, well, you're welcome. I can't get that Birdman out of my brain. The vulture? A mad scientist turns himself into a half-man, half-bird monster to avenge the death of his ancestors. What? What is... What? Why did you need to be a half-man, half-vulture for that? The vulture. What is it? 1996? 1966. Oh, this is like a fucking. Is this like, what is it? The Monster Universe? Is that what this is? The Universal Monster Universe or whatever? Starbucks had always had food? Really? I thought they were just coffee. We don't have it over here. Well, if we have it, it's probably in like major cities like Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, like things like that. But like rural areas, we don't really have it. If you can even count this as, like, we have a giant fucking shopping center and shit near where I live, but it's still like we don't have that. We don't have Starbucks and that. We have Zarafas, if you know what Zarafas is. It's kind of like Starbucks, I guess. I didn't think they had food. Guess because I've never like heard people talk about their food. I've only ever heard about people talking about Starbucks coffee. So what do they have? Like cookies and stuff? What would you have with coffee? Like scones? No. That wouldn't be an American wouldn't have scones, would they? What kind of food does Starbucks have?
Act in a more entertaining manner, like when he randomly asked what kind of collabs they would do. In particular, Michael actually invited Daniel to Joshua's signature tour of New York.
Can you guys do like daily collaborations maybe in the city? Would you like that, Josh? Yes. Wouldn't that be awesome? You guys.
Tour on Friday night.
Yeah. Why don't you? Would you let him join for free the tour?
I can't do that. It's not fair. Like...
All right. You want me to pay for his tour if he shows up? I'll pay for your tour.
The topic eventually shifts to Reddit,
Wait,
and especially
am I
about
tripping?
how terrible.
Wait, was Josh's face like blinking? Wait, what was happening there?
The tour?
I can't do that. It's
What is happening?
fair. Like...
All right. You want me to pay for his tour if he
Do you
shows
see
up?
that?
I'll pay for your tour.
The topic.
Why is his face like freaking out? Is that a filter? What is that? Did he put a filter on to make Josh look chunkier? What was going on?
The topic eventually shifts to Reddit, and especially about how terrible it is for spreading fake news about all three of them. Michael seems particularly livid throughout this discussion, making his.
Now I've reached the island of Dr. Moreau. That's Monster Universe, right? If my friend remembers what the movie is, I'll tell you. But yeah, currently I don't remember the name of the movie.
His opinion crystal
But
clear.
yeah, that Birdman is singed into my memory forever.
Well, they are a news source, and that's what the news
But they're
does.
fake news. They're
They're
terrible.
fake news, yeah.
It's worse than TMZ. Yeah.
After
Fake
this,
news.
Josh starts talking about how someone had created a Yelp account under his name, which resulted in him getting flooded with negative reviews, which, in his view, are entirely misplaced, given that he's never actually received a complaint from any of his fans for his services. He does not bring up the Google reviews, if you were wondering, but honestly, I would doubt that he even knows they exist. After a short discussion about how both Josh and Daniel were regularly getting swatted, Michael, once again showing he's puppet mastering this thing, forces in Joshua's signature catchphrase.
Josh, do me a favor. Ask Daniel if he's ever been on Tinder.
Have you been on Tinder? Yes. Mine said BANED.
What?
What does that mean?
What does that mean? BANED.
Banned. He's banned from Tinder.
Right, okay.
I've largely avoided mentioning it as it's
I don't
frankly
get
kind
it.
of cringe, but after the original Side Talk interview, where the band
That's
from
his
the Gucci
catchphrase?
Store meme had been born,
Why?
Josh would try to relight that flame by morphing the meme into
That's
something
confusing.
different. As we already know, he took the word band and made it part of his whole advertising persona. Subsequently, he would turn it into a catchphrase, in which he changed the Gucci Store to
What's
Tinder.
Tinder?
I go to open Tinder. What does BANNED mean? Banned? I don't have insurance.
But back to the interview, the discussion loops
What?
back to swatting and doxing. In particular,
Huh?
Josh brings up how, due to people doxing a lot of the bars he goes to, a lot of bartenders would outright refuse to serve him. Knowing Joshua, he probably sees this as the absolute worst thing that could happen to him. The most interesting part of this whole clip is a rather brief part during which Michael asks Joshua if he's going to stop
what is he
drinking,
eating?
clearly
Is that
doing
a
so
sandwich?
to solicit a view-worthy reaction. Josh
Wait, you can get a sandwich at Subway? They make sandwiches? It's a coffee shop. What? Bro, what? Am I crazy? Like, normally you have coffee with breakfast. I don't think I've ever woke up and gone, you know what I want for breakfast? A sandwich. Shouldn't it be like breakfast things? Like, I don't know, toast? Or cereal? Or like a scone? Do they make good sandwiches at Starbucks? I'm curious.
Joshua responds to this in a rather interesting manner, accepting that he does indeed have a drinking problem, but says he's unwilling to commit to stopping.
You're gonna quit drinking, right?
No.
No?
I'll moderate my drinking.
What about quit altogether? What you think you should, maybe? What do you think, Dan? You think you should quit drinking?
No, I don't think I should quit. I should cut down, though.
You should cut down.
Cut down, yes. Because you drink too.
You know, I don't end up in the hospital once a week, you know?
Yeah, I've only been in the hospital twice.
I think once is more than enough, you know?
He also reveals that his drinking problem has led him to end up in
Bro,
the...
how can... Okay, this guy makes me angry. How can you sit there and judge and try to reprimand him for drinking too much when you're the one that's making him drink this much? Like, you're encouraging it. And now you're sitting here acting like you don't do that. What's wrong with this guy?
Hospital twice. Of course, he doesn't say it with a level of severity that kind of statement should warrant, but he does say it. After that, there's not much to say about the interview. Michael does his best to keep the chat going as long as possible, and to the credit of our two TikTok e-celebrities, they are decent at engaging in casual conversation with each other by the end. Josh seems excited for an upcoming trip to Vegas, with perhaps the most interesting part being the fact he's mildly worried about his safety, as he's unwilling to leave.
Does Larson do drugs? I'm trying to remember the Larson story now. I remember him being obsessed with that girl. And I remember him being a freak, but I don't remember if he did drugs or not. Because, like, he kind of looks like he's on drugs right now. Is that just me? Like, he kind of looks like he's out of his mind.
The touristy areas. He seems to have a fear of the rascals of Las Vegas. In the end, Daniel and Josh part ways, having officially made peace, which is then further discussed between Josh and Mike. It's strange to hear Michael talk about it as though it had been some earth-shattering drama, considering it was completely astroturfed by him and then ended by him. There isn't really much of a takeaway here, nor a whole lot resulting from it. The much-hyped collabs they talked about never really materialized, and in the eyes of most, the meeting was pretty underwhelming, not helped by the fact that most of it was just being steered by Michael.
It
the
looks
most
gross.
entertaining thing people got out of it was this brief
Doesn't
animated
even look
clip
like good
which
beer.
parodied the whole interaction.
What does BANNED mean?
Strangely, though, despite this beef seemingly being over,
was
this didn't
that?
exactly put an end to the back and forth. While Josh was absent from it from this point on, Michael and Daniel continued to make comments about each other, although 90% of it was coming from Michael, with Daniel just occasionally firing back. Admittedly, this got pretty weird. About 2 months after the interview, Daniel Larson made a very odd series of tweets where he made the claim that he just had intimate relations with Michael Quinn. I don't know if that's true. Considering it's Daniel Larson, I'd say that it's 100% certified true by true-based American patriots. It's probably not true, yeah. There isn't much more to say about Michael after this, at least nothing relevant to us.
What do you mean,
his main
Tom?
account got deleted, and
How
his
can we not
presumed
believe
second
somebody
account
on the
also
internet?
got deleted. Since then, he tried to reestablish himself, with a TikTok I showed being his latest attempt. As for Josh, things would only continue to get worse and more complicated for
Wait,
him.
what happened?
His behavior would become more and more.
Wait, did he cut ties with him? Wait, hold on. What did he say?
Account also got deleted. Since then, he tried to reestablish himself, with a TikTok.
Wait.
true, yeah. There isn't much more to say about Michael after this, at least nothing relevant to us. His main account got deleted, and his presumed second account also got deleted. Since then, he tried to reestablish himself, with a TikTok I showed being his latest attempt. As for
Is he
Josh,
not with
things
Josh
would only
anymore?
continue to get worse and more complicated for him. His behavior would become more and more erratic, not to mention more and more controversial. While he'd largely avoided the attention of YouTubers before, a lot of people, largely smaller creators, would start making videos about him, as clips of his outbursts were.
So, in Australia, right, they do give you beer in a bag like this, but it's only if you bought a Tawley. If you bought it like a long neck, right, a Tawley, but not if you bought a can. Yeah, bro, I typed in Tawley, and it immediately came up, which is really funny. But like, we have these like, we call them Tawleys, right? Some people also call them long necks. We have these like beard. It's like really, wait, how many mils is it? Give me a minute. Uh, 750 mils. Okay, and then how much is in a normal beer? Less than that, I would assume. I'll just type in Tui's because that's just the easiest. That's cans. That's cans. 375 mils in a normal bottle, right? And then there's 750 in a Tawley. So like that, if you bought a single Tawley or long neck, whatever you want to call it, they would put that in a paper bag like this. But we do have cans that are longer than normal cans, but they don't put them in a paper bag like this. So seeing him drink out of a can in a paper bag like this is very weird.
Were circulating again and again. Among these clips, one of them that really made its way around was from a live stream of Josh from sometime in early 2023. The stream started innocently enough until the King of New York is approached by someone claiming to be a fan, only to really quickly devolve into whatever this is.
My name is nuzlocke, and I've been hired by somebody on TikTok to supervise all autistic people. And,
what?
Looks like you're in I'm gonna be your bodyguard / caretaker. No, you won't. Hey, get back here. Stop the skates. Hey, broken man.
It turns out this man is Douglas Skates, who from what I can gather is a bit of a professional troll, having approached Josh mainly for clout. As you can see, Josh isn't exactly enthused to talk to him, which leads to a very strange back and forth wherein Josh tries to leave the man as far behind as possible, only for Douglas to always catch up to him, to which Josh always seems pretty shocked.
I don't want to talk to you.
I'm here to help.
No. If I'm calling the fucking police.
This would keep happening pretty much for the entirety of the live stream, with Douglas constantly popping out of nowhere, just spawning in place, always able to find Josh within a few minutes of losing him. This should, of course, not really be surprising given Josh continued to stream his location.
Yeah, I was about to say,
meaning
he's
Douglas could
streaming.
easily just watch it, find out where he is again, and then wait for him to leave, and then find him again. This clip ended up circulating both on TikTok and YouTube, mainly due to Josh's very, very angry disposition towards Douglas. Doug himself would release clips of his interactions as part of a larger video, whereas the title suggests he's trying to get banned from every library in town.
Chill out, bro. We're cool. We're cool. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm taking care of him. He's getting mad. I'm his caretaker. Calm down.
You're not.
Don't hit me, sir. Look, bro.
As more and more of his public outbursts were exposed via compilations and
kinda funny.
re-uploads, Josh will start catching the attention of the commentary scene, resulting in a number of videos being released about him, namely from Kiwi Tapes. But more interesting than most of these videos is a release from a channel called Masshole Media. The channel released a video in the form of a documentary, where the filming crew shows us a day in the life of Joshua Block. It does give us a pretty interesting look at the kind of person Josh is, being fairly polite with the filming crew throughout. We get to see what he looks and acts like when he's not the one holding the camera, and frankly, he seems like a pretty nice dude when he's not plastered out of his mind.
How come, excuse me, is it true that, like, I looked on Google and bartenders can't accept an out-of-state ID in Mass. Is that
No,
true?
that's not true. That's not true.
How come I saw that on Google? Like, is it like a law that they can't accept it, but they don't enforce it?
We also get to see some more candid
He's just like a
interactions
normal
with
dude.
fans, who end up approaching him in droves. This time around, he does accept photo opportunities and doesn't actually ask for money from anyone. In general, the documentary puts quite a positive spin on Josh and his behavior, which frankly was a pretty refreshing find. But it doesn't exactly break new grounds by giving us more lore, other than making one very interesting assertion regarding Josh's drinking habit.
The alcohol situation with Josh, from what I saw and who I spoke with, he has about 4 to 5 drinks a day. We went to 2 bars and he just got out of dinner when I saw him. So he probably had 3 drinks when around the time when I was around. It wasn't like going to one bar, having 5 drinks, then leaving, going to the next bar, having 5 drinks, then leaving. It was one drink, you'd sit in there, he'd sip on it, he'd do whatever. He'd walk around for another hour, 30 minutes, whatever, and then we'd go to another bar and he'd have another drink. That's kind of what I perceived it as. Obviously, people are going to have other stories and kind of explain what they've seen from him, whether it be on his tours and whatever. But he was controlling it, and he was doing like a very, very good job, and he was still coherent. I didn't notice anything out of the blue.
Suffice to say, the Masshole channel has a rather flowery view of Josh's alcoholism, although admittedly finding out how bad his drinking is kind of hard. Given the statements by his customers, we know it's pretty bad, but without concrete numbers, it's hard to tell if he's like, you know, pretty degenerate alcoholic or
But on top of
the verge
that,
death. But as
wasn't
luck
the
would have
Michael
it, we
guy
wouldn't be
around
without concrete
when he
data
was
for
drinking
long.
like
As
crazy
the same
like
month of
that?
the doc's release, a channel will be created on TikTok with a clear purpose to answer the question of just how bad Josh's alcoholism is. The channel is pretty amusingly called World of Alcohol Tracker, and it boasts 170,000 followers of its own, pretty much spending its entire time keeping up on Josh's day-to-day activities, with a big focus on keeping track of how much he drinks. This is best exemplified by his very first video, where he notes down every single drink Josh had consumed on camera, calculating that, accounting for loss of blood alcohol level due to sobering up in between drinks, he would have had around 0.21% blood alcohol content level by 8 p.m., having started drinking around noon. For context, if you blow a 0.8 when you get pulled over, you're probably going to get a DUI. So Josh is at triple that amount. With a slight break following the second
Maybe he doesn't
video,
drive,
this
so
guy
it's all
went on
good.
to diligently catalog Joshua's alcohol consumption for every single day from the 31st of October all the way up to January. He even documented a few more relevant metrics, including the amount of money Josh would spend on drinks and even the amount of calories consumed. The channel got a shocking amount of attention, especially considering that it really hasn't been around that long and is like a
The fuck
niche
is that
account
beer?
following a relatively niche person in the grand scheme of things, just covering his alcohol addiction. It's such a small
Is it
area
milk?
of anything to focus on, and it blew up, which if anything shows just how fascinated people are with the world of t-shirts. Less than 2 weeks after posting his first video, he posted another breakdown, which ended up netting him over 2 million views, and in that video he concluded that throughout the 8th of November 2023, Josh got to a blood alcohol level of around 0.22, paid roughly $25, and consumed around 2,300 calories. For those who don't know, 2,300 calories is around what an average male his age would eat in a day, and he was consuming that
We'll leave it at
alcohol
900.
alone. The whole channel serves as a stark reminder of just how bad Josh's
Watch the
addiction
rest
has
of the video.
gotten. And given that he hits at least 0.2 across pretty much all these videos, it's clear that this man is drinking himself into an early grave. This new perspective on Josh led to a lot of attention being brought back to the World of T-Shirts channel, which was largely negative. While most had always been vaguely aware of his problem, these videos opened a lot of people's eyes to just how bad the problem was. Conversely, Josh and Michael would both end up learning about the tracker. According to the tracker himself, Michael came out
so
against
Michael's
him,
still
arguing
around.
he was sending people to Josh who would actively encourage him to drink more. Tracker dismissed that idea wholesale, arguing the only people encouraging it are people from Michael's side of things, which is definitely true.
I'm not here to physically help Josh anymore. I'm just here to leverage his account and his content to help people. I've gotten hundreds of messages validating that people are drinking less because of this content, are more mindful about their drinking, and I think this is all great positive reinforcement that this content is helping people. So I'm so happy for that. I'm happy for all of you guys. And as MQ says in this clip, my viewers or community are the ones telling Josh, oh, you need to get to 16, you need to break a new personal record. Those people are from his own community, and they have been the ones from day one of his drinking, career on TikTok. They're the ones egging him on.
Regardless of what Michael Quinn might want us to believe, everyone knew that Josh had a problem, regardless of the tracker's presence. Things are really put into perspective when we reach the end of 2023, with an update for December 31st. In it, he gives a breakdown for the whole day.
How much money
but
do
the
you
really
reckon he
interesting
spends?
part comes later when he looks back over the entire month
Holy
of December.
shit.
According to his
Bro, he spent $1,500 on alcohol in a month. Wait, hold on. To put that in perspective, I'm gonna do some math. Just need to figure out how much they are. I don't know. Liquorland will do. Oh wait, we'll go Dan Murphy's. Dan Murphy's is normally the cheapest. Normally. So we'll go Dan Murphy's. We'll go off the cheapest. Oh, bro, I forgot how bad Dan Murphy's website is. 2E's. Just need a carton of cans. How much is a carton of cans? How much is it? It is $60. Okay. So, carton of cans at $60. And then we times it by 4. So my dad spends $240. Because he buys a carton a week. Right? So $240 he spends a month. Bro, that's insane. But I guess it is, to go out drinking at like pubs and stuff, it's probably like more expensive, right? That's still mental. 1,500. That's so much money. Total drinks, 306. Well, 30, 30, 60, so 120. So my dad's drinking half? Under half? That's crazy. That is so much money on alcohol.
This study, we find out Josh has spent around $1,500 on alcohol, with an average blood alcohol level at around 0.08, which, once again, is when you get a DUI. He would only spend 34% of the month.
He doesn't drive, so it's all good.
Sober, being at least slightly drunk 64% of the time, above driving limit for 40% of the time, and blackout drunk about 9% of the time. From this, he would also draw.
Alright, so he's drunk 60% of the time?
On average for the entire year, asserting that throughout 20.
Oh my god, he spends almost $20,000 in a year on alcohol. Bro, I don't even think I spend that much money on anything. Maybe my dogs? No, not even. I don't even think I would spend that much on my dogs. That's crazy.
2023, Josh would have spent around $18,000 on alcohol and consumed 575,000 calories from drinking alone. Frankly, though, while the tracker undoubtedly did really good work, it's really hard to see this having much of an effect. The truth is that Josh is showing no signs of changing at all. And pretty much for the whole last year, he's been stuck in Groundhog Day, doing the same thing over and over again to an audience of people who, for the most part, couldn't really care less what happens to him. This is best exemplified when you look at his channel today. While he still gets respectable views, compounded by the facts that he releases up to a dozen videos in a single day, the comment sections are universally filled with either trolls who want him to drink more, or people referencing the tracker who, while not being fans of him, do care enough to at least say that he should stop drinking. We live in a time when pretty much anyone can get famous for anything, and there's no better example of this than TikTok. The number of absolute degenerates who gain popularity just for that is uncountable. Given that, it shouldn't be a surprise that Joshua Block has found so much success. For all of his faults, one can't deny his achievements. He managed to turn his status as a lol cow into a little career, and to this day he makes enough money to fund his very expensive drinking habit.
Fuck drink
but
is
that's
that?
Simultaneously the tragedy of it. He's always encouraged to continue the self-destructive behavior with no regard for how it affects his mental and physical health because it keeps getting views. In that, it's hard to feel anything but pity for this guy. Despite his flawed personality, the truth is that he's not nearly as bad as many other people on the platform, and frankly, he is literally autistic. Like, this guy kind of needs help, and it's not from Michael Quinn. To see him self-destruct in such a spectacular fashion is pretty heartbreaking. I can't predict what will happen to the guy, but personally, I do hope he gets better at some point, and the first step to that is probably him getting off of TikTok. As for if that's going to happen, I wouldn't speak confidently either way. I've been Turkey Tom, thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.
But the other, like, thing that needs to happen is that Michael guy needs to get out of the picture. Bruh. That's so much money on alcohol. That's crazy. How could you drink that much? I don't... So, Like, I understand, like, when you're sad, you want to drink, right? Like, I get that feeling. But, like, once again, this goes back to me saying before how I think too much about things. Because, like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm sad, I want to drink, right? But then I think to myself, oh, but it's going to suck tomorrow when I have a hangover. So then I just don't drink. Do people just not think about the hangover the next day? Is that what it is? Because, bro, hangovers suck. They're the worst. That's why I don't get it when people want to drink every day. Because my mother has a friend that's similar to this. To the point where she brings alcohol, right, with her in the morning. If she has to work, she'll bring alcohol with her in her car, and she'll leave it in a cooler with ice, right? And then when she's leaving work, she will make a drink and drink it, and then make a second drink, and then start to drive home. And then the minute, like, she gets home and all that, she'll just drink until God knows what time. Till she's obliterated. And she does that every day. And if she's not working, she wakes up, and the first thing she does is start drinking. And I don't get it. Maybe they drink so much to the point where, like, they're constantly in a state of being drunk, so they never really feel the hangover? Is that what happens? Because, bro, hangovers suck. What? Female dating strategy. I don't think I care enough about that. Bro, I need a pee so bad. Where is this? There it is. We'll do that. How long have we been streaming for? Oh, bro, we've been going for 3 hours. I was gonna stream short today because I need to do things. But we streamed longer than I expected, so. I guess I'm gonna be up late, I guess. What do we want tomorrow? What do we want to do tomorrow, huh? Tell me. Tell me what you guys want. Do we want The Walking Dead? Man, I need a pee so bad. What is this? Go away. Bro, I have so many messages. Because I ignored them. Bro, the Spy Family movie was really good. I watched it the other day. What's it called? Like, Road Wide or something like that? It was really good. I enjoyed it. Are you still here, Benny? What game do you want to see? Anyone that's here, type of game. Yeah, I could play Dark Souls, actually. I kind of feel like playing Dark Souls. Yeah, actually, I might just play Dark Souls. Because I kind of just want to play Dark Souls. How many bosses are in Dark Souls 3? And how many have I killed? I killed the guy I pulled the sword out of. I killed the thing that was in front of the gate, right? I killed the ball sack monster. I killed the wizard lady. That's 4, right? Have I killed more than that? I don't remember which ones I killed. Probably should have been keeping track, but anyway. My shopping's coming tomorrow too, so if you play Dark Souls, it might end up dying because I'll have to pause at some point to go get my shopping. I don't know how well that's going to do in a game where you can't pause. Anyway, I'm going to go now. I'm going to go get something to eat. I'm really hungry. Oh, fuck. It's already past breakfast again. Shit. I really want bacon egg muffins from McDonald's. And I keep forgetting. And I stream past the point where they sell them. So, like, it's been annoying. I've been craving them for like a week. Anyway, that's my issue. Skill issue, I guess. Okay, that all looks good. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you enjoyed today's stream, leave a like. If you'd like to see more, subscribe. But, till next time, devour a child instead. Wait, no, I said that at a weird time. I shouldn't have read your message. I blame you, Benny. So now it sounds really weird. I can't devour a child. I feel like eggs. I want eggs and bacon. But we don't really buy eggs and bacon in this house because we don't care enough about eggs and bacon. God damn it. Until next time, hooroo. Eggs are unborn children. So are periods. Hooroo.